Welcome to Co-op Mode, round 131. This is the official video game podcast of Secret Friends Unite. I am one of your MCs tonight, Todd Oxtra, joined by our fellow Canadian, our distinguished guest fighting the COVID, but he's still here. He's a trooper. That's Mark, the Canadian Carabin.
I am here. I'm sad I didn't get the dress up memo. You two look dapper tonight, and I'm in a Star Wars t-shirt. But I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to be talking to some people. I do currently have COVID. It's been a rough weekend, but I'm feeling a bit better today. So let's talk video games.
You know, I was worried. I thought Mark might have his Canadian tuxedo like pressed and ready to go, but the denim is not ready to go. So, we are joined by someone who has not been on in 4 years, but he is someone near and dear to all of our hearts in the world of Secret Friends Unite. And that's my son, Logan Oxtra. Logan, you're a senior in high school. You're here before you even were in high school. How does it feel to be back?
It's great to be back, especially at such a prestigious event that I helped Photoshop the background of.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Logan made the Madam Web award. He helped with other things, so he's been helping me Photoshop when Mark's been busy. And Mark, I want to say thank you for your work in the Couchy Award. First, I want to thank ChatGPT or Bing AI creating awards that looked a little bit funky and clunky. And Mark's like, I can put some polish on that turd. And there we go. We have our Couchy Award.
That's it. AI generated art is fine for a base, if you really need something quick, but there's still a little off with it, like words that aren't words, or like something that kind of looks video game button-y, I think is what they were aiming for. So yeah, I did a quick, little quick erase and swap and type in stuff here and there, and it looks all right.
They came close a few times. There was a couple where somebody had a third leg. A little bit awkward at times. But you know what? A for effort, being AI. I use my credits to do that. So thank you for your results. It's the year of AI, folks. What can I say? We're all in on it. So hopefully, Mark, neither of us are replaced by AI.
I mean, if I am, I hope it's like a nice AI. You know what I mean? Like, just keep in contact, like be a buddy kind of thing. Like I
Okay.
hope it's like helpful. Like if it's a nice kind of like, hey, sorry, I'm an AI. I'm just gonna replace your job and whatever, and that'll be it. And we're just like, okay, I understand it. Like you're a nice guy.
It almost make me feel worse. I kind of want my AI to just be no remorse, just full like, you know what, I'm gonna take your job, you're gonna deal with it.
So the Terminator, you're looking
Pretty
for the
much.
Terminator, the
I'm gonna go with a
overlords.
bang.
The youth. They are, from the mouths of babes that are 18 and ready to take care of us in our age, Mark. We know they will. So with that, we, Mark, need to thank the folks that made this show possible. If your voice is struggling, let me know. But if you want to take it, you can.
No, yeah, I'm good to go. We have to thank our friends over at Patreon. You can go there, patreon.com/Secret Friends Unite for a free 7-day trial and join people such as our Friends with Benefit tier, John Sedorf, the Phoenix Sisters cosplay, Brenna Myers, Asian Sith Mistress, Matthew Keel, and Corey in HD, as well as our BFF tier, Sean, Stella, and Henry Nias, and Missy Merchant. All these people help make these shows happen, help make them what they are, and you can go and join those people with ad-free podcasts and a bunch of exclusive shows over at patreon.com/Secret Friends Unite.
Very, very good. More exciting things coming. We are posting a new spinner rack on Friday. Should be a lot of fun. And Charlie is telling me he is going to be doing some infamous movies with his spouse, and they are covering lots of TV shows on their coverage. So more to come in 2024 in our Patreon. So with that, we get to probably the most infamous segment of our show, or maybe the award-winning. I don't know, Mark. probably a Couchy for buy, rent, or return. This week, Mark, we're celebrating the world of games, but I figured we would at least look at the most infamous moments of gaming in 2023. So I picked 3 games for buy, rent, return, infamous style, and that would be not the game Infamous, but Infamous from the Three Amigos. Am I infamous? Yes. Yes, you are, El Guapo. The Lord of the Rings, Gollum. Everybody 1-2 Switch, and Skull Island, Rise of Kong. So why don't we start with uh, our community first with their picks? I'll go with Jerry McCoy. Jerry McCoy is an old friend. He goes way back. Thanks, Jerry, for being in our Discord. He says, buy 1-2 Switch. It's the only good game. So he didn't put that in quotes either, so he must really mean it. Rent Gollum. I like this IP better than Kong. So
There we go. Yep.
a slight praise. And then Return Skull Island. I like this IP worse than Lord of the Rings. The Redhead Stepchild.
Fine. Yeah. I mean, fine reasoning for like a couple of like duds. You know what I mean? Like I get that.
You want to take Famous Seamus?
Yeah, sure. Famous Seamus will buy everybody 1-2 Switch. There might be someone who likes this game and who knows this game might be fun at parties. I get it. That's seems to rent Gollum. This should be used in studies of how not to make a video game. So he, rented to study it. I get that. Yes, that's a solid answer. And return Skull Island, Rise of Kong. Yeah, this could also be used to study how not to make bad games. But we all know why this game was bad. Game Mills gave the developers a very limited budget and an insanely short amount of time to make the game. I don't think we need to beat a dead horse when it comes to this. Fair.
Yeah. Licensed games, they used to be all bad. So we're kind of surprising that we get so many good licensed games these days. So you know what? Somebody's got to remind me of the bad old days. So I'll take it. So we have Sean Nye says, oh man, return them all. So he didn't even give it a moment's notice. They're all a return.
Yep.
And then Winter Gamer.
Doubled up with the return all of them. Ain't nobody got time for those games.
So before we start, did anybody play any of these games?
Because I value my sanity, I did not play any of them.
And typically Logan only will play these games if Dad has bought them, typically. So,
Sure.
Right.
So let's start with you, Logan. So what would you buy? What would you rent? And what would you return of these 3 games?
I would for sure. You gotta rent Gollum. Actually, no, sorry, the ape one, because that one's just kind of one of those dumb fun games. You just rent it to see, hey guys, look how dumb this is. Let's poke fun at it, like the B movie level. You know what? Maybe we'll play a dumb party game too. 1-2 Switch. I'd buy that. It'd be nice to have. And then probably Gollum's just a sad bad. It makes me just sad to look at it. Yeah. It's one of those games where I just play and I just wish, you know what? It's just disappointing, not really that point and laugh kind of game.
You know what? Not bad choices. Mark?
I'm gonna kind of stick to the consensus and do everybody 1-2 Switch for my buy. There might be something in there. At least it's a Nintendo first party. They try some weird stuff. I don't know. It might be fun for a party or fun to play with Finn. Like he might be able to grasp some of the mini games and do some of that stuff. Maybe I should actually buy this game. Am I gonna go buy one? No, I don't think so. But
Mark, you have a voucher left over. Perfect opportunity.
No. And I'm gonna kind of mirror but differentiate from Jerry's picks. I've been on a real like monster kaiju verse, Godzilla verse, whatever you want to call it, kick recently. I just finished Monarch. I went back and watched all the movies. So just because of that, I'm gonna go with Skull Island for my rent. Just because I'm like I have like a Godzilla behind me here. Like I'm ready to go in that universe. And even if it's a terrible game, still like get a little bit of something out of it. And I love Lord of the Rings, but I don't want to subject myself to like bad Lord of the Rings that same kind of way. I don't know. I think like a bad action game is better than a bad stealth game, maybe as well. I don't know. So that's yeah. And then I'll just return Gollum because what do Winter Gamers say? Ain't no one got time for bad games. Yeah, that one.
This is like the devil's three-way, man. Nobody wins. um, so this one's hard because I did play the original 1-2 Switch. I think Logan, we played it. I mean, I didn't think they could out-top themselves, and they did. So quite honestly, I was going to buy it, but surprisingly, the thing that would have sold to me if it came with that damn horse mask doesn't. And that was a huge miss on their end. I mean, really, that's really what it was missing. If it had that, then it'd be a sell. But I'm gonna go with Kong because it really looks like the guy in the suit type of monster game, Mark, like they used to make the old Godzilla. It does kind of look like guy in a suit. So you know what? I'll take it for that. And there might be an off chance that King Kong throws some poo.
There you go. That's a high need for any game that I play.
Monkey games.
Also,
yes.
I do have to mention that you could order Everybody 1-2 Switch on Amazon and throw in a horse mask for like $15 or less and just pretend that it all came together and make yourself happy. I want to see this happen.
You revive the Labo and make it a Labo horse mask. You have to make it yourself. Then you get to play it in the game. There you go.
Like one of those cardboard masks. It's like Minecraft looking.
Yep. All right.
I think that would sell it.
Oh, Labo. We haven't talked about you in years.
A Labo horse mask. This has to happen.
Exactly. Just imagine like a horse racing with Labo.
Oh my God. At least 10 people would buy it, and that would be double the sales of the current Labo. So
that's all Labo is really missing right there.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, Labo. We R.I.P. Okay. So once again, Skull Island's my buy. Monkey Hijinks. Gotta love it. I'm going with Everybody 1-2 Switch just because you know what? You're going to get to see your friends be idiots. So that is always a gem. And since it's a rental from Gamefly, which I could get, I haven't wasted any money. So that's the appropriate rental for me. And then Gollum, to your point, Mark, I don't like stealth already. And this game would probably make me become like Solid Snake and find the headquarters where this game was made and probably, I don't know, order all of the copies of Gollum and just dump them on their doorstep. They find them everywhere in their lobby. It's like in the toilet lid, the toilet bowl lid. It's in their every refrigerator. It's in all of their mailboxes. Yeah, that's what I do. I'd return it directly to them.
Yeah.
Okay, well, folks, we promise we will have better choices in 2024. But you know what? Gotta say goodbye to 2023 in this appropriate way. So now we get into what we've been gaming this week. We did have gaming news, but really we can talk about that in future weeks. We also want to talk about the world of 2023, and we're going to celebrate it. But we're going to talk about at least what we've been playing in 2024. So Logan, kick it off, man.
I have been going back to playing old games that I haven't played in forever. I think the most recent two things I've played is I've played PalWorld, which I just played for 3 hours for the first time right before this, and Terraria for like the 80 billionth time. With friends, not alone. That would be a little bit more sad after 300 hours. But I will say, PalWorld, guns and Pokemon do kind of make it a little bit more fun.
Interesting.
After having such a low bar for Pokemon, anything we'll take anything new, whether that's like free roam or just give us like an AK-47 and let us shoot a Wooloo. I'll go for it,
So how do you feel? Like, are you as big of a Pokemon fan as your dad? Meaning like not at all.
I like the French. I like the characters. I like Pokemon as a concept. Okay. I don't think I've liked any of the games past like the one I played when I was 7.
I think
Right.
Scarlet was the last one you played because I think it was bought on Nintendo. We bought Scarlet for you
I
back in
forget the game did come
2022.
out on like the PS2 because I mean that's kind of what it reminds me of.
Yeah. So what? How do you feel with PalWorld? Like the concept sounds interesting. It sounds like to me, it sounds neat. Like I kind of like morbidly want to check it out. Like Pokemon with guns. Like why wouldn't I kind of want to check that out? But for me, the big turnoff is seeing the characters now that the game's out and seeing like some of them are just direct copies. And it's like if you're going to like for me, it's some of them are hitting that point where it's like not parody, it's lazy copying kind of thing. And it's like I'm not sure, does it play differently, or how are you feeling that way? Like with that controversy of like, are they just straight up copying the designs? Are they like making fun of it a little bit? Are they like, how are you feeling having played it for a bit?
I will say if you're trying to, there's only so many original designs and it's just 1,000 Pokemon, but there are quite a couple that are like, okay, that's literally this Pokemon, but
Hmm.
the game is such a different experience that it's like, I mean, we're not really hurting Pokemon's bottom line. I mean, maybe if it was another company, I would care a little bit more, but I mean, the
Right.
biggest grossing media franchise in the world, they'll be okay. And it's more like Ark Survival Evolved or like games like Grounded or stuff like that. It's very much a survival kind of game that also has a bunch of companions.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I played a little bit too. Logan actually saw me playing it first, and I was playing on PC Game Pass. Logan was too. I was playing it with controller, and I will say this: PC Game Pass, or even the Xbox version, Mark, they are way behind the Steam game. Essentially, Steam allows you to do, the developers to do Steam drops and upgrades anytime they want. Xbox has to approve them, so that's why they're behind because they need to get approval from Xbox. But I couldn't even figure out how to eat, so I starved a couple of times, which was very sad. It got really dark. I couldn't find like assets because it got so dark. I couldn't find like things to make a torch. It's a true survival game.
Wow.
And I did kill one of those woolies. I guess they're called woolies. I don't know. Because I thought I could eat it. I couldn't. I just killed it, and there's a corpse now.
Yeah,
I
good
did
for
get
you.
yeah. I did get one that I didn't know what to do with yet. I apparently need to build it a bed, or it gets a little frustrated with me. You do build like you can build like those the Pokemon balls to collect them, but you have to
Mhm.
craft those, and you build a bench to make things. Then you have like a pal. What was it called? Logan? Pal box.
Yeah, it's your PC, your Pokemon box. It's almost exactly what it is.
Right.
It just lets you make a base. The game is very like again, it's very I can already tell it's going to be grindy. A lot of the whole point of the game is to automate tasks by catching a bunch of pals.
Mm.
I don't think there's a story. It seems like the goal of the game is just to go to a bunch of towers and fight some strong pals. I think that's what they're called still. But it kind of just seems like a game where if you have a lot of time and you just want to grind away at something, it seems like a great option. I mean, a lot of people are enjoying it, but I wouldn't consider it like the pinnacle of gaming.
Got it.
It's open beta right now. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of a crazy game, Mark. I tried it. Like I said, I starved to death. I did some things. It's a beautiful looking game. It has like and it's got elements of Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom in it too. Like you can
Wow.
climb anything. And you do eventually get like a glider. And when you find things, it has little of those like music elements of like Breath of the Wild, which I was like really
Hmm.
impressed. And then you can design your character, and I think the special sauce here is I think this is hopefully going to show Nintendo people want to do more with the Pokemon franchise, not necessarily kill them with guns, but open world Pokemon you can play online with your friends, and it looks
Yeah.
like a modern game because I mean it's amazing the size of these creatures. You can ride them. Logan, what did you do with one of your pals as a weapon?
So there's a little Firefox guy, and if you use a harness, you can pick him up and use him as a flamethrower. And I also used that to fight a bunch of thugs who were shooting me with an actual handgun. So that was an interesting experience to have in the first 3 hours.
That's amazing.
I know, that's what my thought was.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely not for me, but I could see, and a lot of people are just, especially if you're not Nintendo, like you don't own Nintendo. This is probably the closest you'll get to, these type of creatures, but with that survival element, which people love, and it's huge on Steam. I think 5 million people on Steam have bought the game, which is just insane.
Yeah, it's
It's only
the
been out for a
highest
week.
concurrent player count or something like that already. It's
It's
wild.
crazy. Yep.
Yeah,
And PlayStation was asked if it's going to come, and Shuhei Yoshida said yes to PlayStation.
good enough.
Anything else, Logan? Any other gaming
Yeah, I just
moments?
want to say it's currently PalWorld apparently has 1 million players playing right now as we speak, which is
Wow,
uh I don't know, but might be one of the highest. I think it's the number one game currently.
wow,
Yeah, that is insane. And it peaked at 2 mil
jeez,
24 hours ago.
that's wild.
My only hope is that maybe Nintendo will see this and figure out that maybe we want games where we can shoot. I mean, have a well-crafted Pokemon game. That's what I meant. Yep.
That's it. Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing. Well,
Wild.
Mario got a game in Mario's versus Rabbids. I mean, guns are never
Yeah,
out of the question.
that's it. They gave Mario a
A
gun.
reference the what was it E3 2003 where the one Nintendo person came on and said that Mario will never shoot hookers. That is a real quote.
What?
Oh, you didn't know about that?
No.
Oh, you can look that up. That is a real quote. That was their marketing strategy for GameCube, and I wish I was lying. There's a clip and everything.
Is that in the design doc for
Yeah,
for
yeah.
Mario Sunshine? No dead hookers.
E3 2003.
Oh, 2003. I was right. There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who said that?
I
Iwata?
forget who said it. No,
Miyamoto?
it was a white guy if I remember correctly.
Oh, he's
Yeah,
no
it's,
longer
it's
there
some
then.
dude.
Yeah.
Nintendo's gone a
Wow.
long way.
Yeah, they have. Anything else, Logan, you've been playing?
That's it.
Excellent. So, Mark, every in the doc I'm looking here, you put something down. I have no clue what you've been playing. Are you playing like a off kilter like mobile game?
No, no. So in the doc, for everyone listening, in the doc, I wrote Mario Kittens in all caps with an exclamation mark because that's all I've been playing. Finn has learned the absolute delight that is Super Mario 3D World. So I've been going. Actually, that's a partial lie. He goes back and forth between Mario Kittens and Mario Wonder. He loves them both, so we've been playing both. But lately, the last couple of days, it's been like full on Mario Kittens. So we play with him. We let him play a little bit. He's getting really, really good. It's crazy just how quickly he's come along in his gaming skills of like being able to, at first when he was playing, it was almost, like he could jump or he could move, but like good luck trying to get him to do both at the same time. And in just like a couple of weeks, he's keeping up. He's getting bad guys. He's doing accurate jumps. He's progressing through these games. And yeah, I'm with him. Sometimes I have to kind of carry him along in his little bubble, but like we're still straight through beating like Super Mario 3D World, like at Bowser's, like very, very close to Bowser's Castle. So that's all I've been playing recently. I've been picking a little bit at Pokemon Crystal, but most of my gaming life has been completely consumed by Super Mario Kittens.
Is that the Switch version that has Bowser's Fury?
Yes, we have
That
not
is
yet
that
dabbled
is
in Bowser's
truly
Fury.
Mario Kitties, especially when he Super Saiyans. That's amazing.
Yes. Yeah. We haven't dabbled into that one yet because he really likes having more control. So I'm worried if I give him Bowser Jr., he's going to get frustrated, and if I take Bowser Jr., he's going to again get frustrated cuz I can't lead them with, whatever. So I am eventually going to get that one, but I think we'll beat this first, and we'll see how we go from there.
Logan, we played 3D World back in the day, right? We played some co-op.
We did, yeah. No, that game is fantastic for every level of like a platformer. It's one of my favorite. I think it might be one of my favorite 2D platformers still. Just the simplicity, but the creativity in every level is it's very approachable.
Yeah. The one thing screwing me up is after playing Super Mario Wonder, the R button does very different things in both of those games. In Super Mario 3D World, that's your ground pound. In Super Mario Wonder, it's your special ability. So I usually have it as like an extra spin jump or a glide or something like that. So there have been so many times when I'm trying to do a glide, trying to get past like a big gap or something like that, and I just instinctively hit that R button, and instead of gliding like Super Mario Wonder, I drop to my death. Not the best, but it's fine. It's all good.
Like
and
when I
then
play
you have to
one
like,
game after playing PlayStation, I'm like, oh, the damn buttons are the wrong place.
yeah. And it's those times are the funniest though, because like when I kill myself and I'm like, Finn, don't move, please don't move, please don't move, please don't move, wait till I come back, hold on, wait, don't move. And sometimes he'll just stay, and other times he's like, nah, screw that, I'm going for it, I can do this myself. And then we start the stage over again. So it's good stuff.
Yeah, there was times when Logan, there was some really strain on our relationship through some of those Mario games where, oh, why are you throwing me in the ditch? Oh, this is not fun. Oh, there's the
He
bubble.
tossed me off the stage.
Yeah. I think you truly learn your children are capable of evil at certain stages in their life. So, Mark, that's all I can say.
Yeah. That's very fun.
Good
though.
luck.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. Great game. I don't think did you beat Bowser's Fury?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I couldn't remember if you did. I love that. I was so excited. I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna get another Mario Odyssey like in a couple years. No.
Yeah. That's what we thought. We thought this was like a test bed for the next one,
Yeah.
and then just nothing. I don't know.
Yeah, that still is the pinnacle year of Nintendo for me.
Yeah.
Oh well. So for myself, this is a fun story. So Logan got to experience this. So Logan played Cyberpunk first, and then he played the Phantom Liberty expansion. Got that. So when you look at like our GOG or whatever, yeah, it's GOG that is primarily Good Old Games that has Cyberpunk, has all of our saves. There's literally like 100 saves with Logan stuff. Okay. So then I'm like, okay. So I started playing hardcore. So I've talked about it. I by accident started Phantom Liberty, and I absolutely loved it.
Yep.
And cloud saves are not as awesome as you think they are if they don't work. None of my game saves cloud saved. Logan's did.
Oh no.
And I was panicked. I was freaking out. I'm like, I'm not going to survive. I'm like 35 hours in. Can't play Logan's save because it's his story. So Logan and I are figuring this out. And thankfully, I use Backblaze. And this is an ad for Backblaze. But thank God I have Backblaze because it's been updating my local saves and thankfully secured them. I was able to download them because they actually replaced my local saves too with Logan's. So thankfully, I only lost like 2 hours of progress, but man, oh man, be careful, cloud saves. Make sure they're there. Do a local backup if you can. But that would have been so disappointing because I was having so much fun. And Logan and I have been talking about, like, he's been telling me, hey, Dad, do this type of, don't piss off Johnny too much. Don't do this. So Logan's kind of like my Sherpa for the game. And I'll say, hey, what about this weapon? Or how do you do this? And he's amazing at the game. And I'm doing a different type of style play. But I panicked, Mark. I really did. And Logan was seeing it, and he was a trooper. So kudos to my son.
Yep.
Oh, you're muted, Logan.
Oh, that's what I'm here for. Tech issues. I'm pretty sure that's my main role in life. At least at this point.
Tech
help
issues and showing them how to play.
Yeah, yep. he definitely is the person like trying to help me figure out how to eat in PalWorld so don't die. What is going on? I'm not that incompetent. I really am not. But you know what? The proof is in the pudding.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's giving me the side eye right now. That's great. Thank you, son. But the game I've been putting the most time in, and this came from GameFly, is Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown.
Mm.
Um, I am eating this game up. It is amazing. I mean, I will not be the first person because everybody's talking about this game. If you love Metroidvania games, you love stylish combat, you like really fun story, you like really good combat with emergent platforming, this game's amazing. And
Mm.
one of the best things about this game, and if you don't know, like Prince of Persia started off as a 2D platformer, then turned into a 3D like action adventure game for many, many years. It's tried to come back. There was supposed to be a remake of Sands of Time. We don't know. That game may never come back. But they made this, and it was such a surprise, and people were nervous about this game. I think it's a $50 game, or maybe full price even. People are complaining, but I'm like, it's well worth it. It's not a short game either. It's probably 25 hours.
Oh
And
wow.
it's got everything you want in a game like this. You can change the difficulty on the fly. Like you can play anything from just like baby mode to the hardest of the hard. And Mark, even within it, you can change parts of the difficulty. Like if you want to play
Oh,
like I
cool.
want
Yeah,
full
yeah,
on hard combat, but I
yeah.
hate traversal, you can change that. I love that. Tomb Raider, I think, did that back in the
Cool.
day, where it basically said you might be good at something, but you might be bad at something else. Let's not punish you one way or the other. Let's focus on where your fun is, like maybe melee or parry. Logan is the parry master. I am not. So, if you don't get parry right, it kind of punishes you in this game. So it's very important to know that. But when you get it right, you feel awesome. So I haven't played with those adjustments. I'm playing it like the second level of difficulty, but it's awesome. Love to pieces. The boss moments are amazing. And the platforming, like I said, is great. You slowly get all of your upgrades, like you get a bow and arrow. I've not gotten the double jump yet. I'm waiting for the double jump, but I know there's a place I'm going to use it, just like any great
Mm.
Metroidvania. You're going to get your bow and arrow. And the cool bow and arrow is really cool because when you run out of arrows, it turns your bow into a chakram you can throw.
Oh, that's cool.
It's great. It gives you a secondary purpose because the arrows are a tough commodity. You can eventually increase the amount you carry, but they're not always respawning. When you kill an enemy, you might get an arrow, but you don't always get it.
Do you
Um,
have to use it as a bow and arrow first, or can you switch
no,
modes while you still have ammo left?
it's a long press on the Y.
Okay.
If you hold it and then you aim it, you kind of see where the direction is going. Like you can,
Yep.
and it bounces off things. So that's perfect for that type of
Hmm.
thing. Especially there's a lot of airborne enemies, which is perfect for it. But you do need to use an arrow or the chakram to like create platforms where you've got like a bud. And it's almost like flowers or leaves
Yeah.
that form. Hit them, and then they once you go on them, they despawn. So you have to hit them again. So it's got that great like Ori platforming that I absolutely love, and it's amazing. It does have time elements. There's a lot more things I haven't unlocked yet, but it's pretty amazing, and I can't say enough. But the coolest part, do I have it here? I don't. Is I got the Game Sir Galileo G8. This is like an alternative to the Backbone, and it's USB-C, but it will work with iPhone, works with Android phones.
Mm.
It's awesome, but it's more ergonomic. So it's almost like using a full-on like Xbox Series controller or a PlayStation, where it's got like full sticks, full everything. It's got mappable back buttons, and it works natively with PlayStation Remote, which is great. It works with the
Nice.
cloud, like Xbox Cloud, and also Android or local mobile games, Mark, if you just want controls, which is great.
Sick.
Love it to pieces. It works amazing. I had so much fun with it. So actually, while the NFL playoffs were going on, I was doing remote play on the PlayStation, playing Prince of Persia, no lag whatsoever, watching the game, playing it. It was amazing. I
Nice.
didn't need a PlayStation Portal. So if anybody's thinking now that iPhone is going USB-C, it's a great controller, and it's opens wide, so it might even fit some. It can fit some tablets, so it might even fit like the iPhone, like the iPad Mini, if it has a
Mm.
USB-C port. But probably not yet. But maybe if it does, it would fit that because it opens up wide enough, which I think is super cool.
I can't remember if the mini's on USB-C or not. I think the regular one has. I know my Pro is USB-C, but I doubt it'd fit like a 13-inch Pro.
Yeah. So I've got it
Still
here,
very
so you can see
interesting.
it.
Yeah.
It goes like that wide,
Nice. That
and
looks
it's got
really
like
cool.
back buttons. and you can kind of see it's like it's a chunky boy, so it's got really
Mm,
full on grips, and it's got these customizable buttons at the bottom, so you can choose the mode you're in for Xbox or mobile or whatever. It takes screen
sick.
grabs. The software's okay. It's not as good as the Backbone, but for what I got, it's $80. The Backbone's 100. It's great, and it's got a
Yeah, I thought it was
USB-C
more.
charging
Yeah.
spot, and it has a
Oh,
3.5 headphone jack. If you got that to use it if you want. So I loved it.
cool.
It was a great case for me to play remotely, and I love it. So it made my game
Yeah,
a lot better. And I'll just take it with me on, like, I'm going to Vegas this weekend. I will be playing probably some mobile games with it with sticks.
nice. Yeah, I downloaded the Prince of Persia demo on Switch and have not been able to play my Switch because of Super Mario Kittens. But it feels like a game that I kind of want to play exactly how you described it. Watching something, picking up, picking bits and pieces of Prince of Persia here and there. Um, so I really want to test it on Switch and see how it runs and see if it keeps up. And if it's subpar, then I'll get it on Xbox and just kind of deal with playing when I have the TV. But if I can play this, if it runs well on Switch, I'd love to play it there because then I can pick it apart while there's something else going on TV or while I'm here, there, or whatever. So, yeah, I'm hoping by the next episode, I've at least played the demo of this, if not decided
You'll be
where the
so
hell I'm
happy.
going to buy it. Yeah.
It's got a great demo because where it stops, it's like, oh wait, don't pull it away from
Right.
me. It's right
Oh,
before a
yeah.
boss fight, is all I'll say. It just
Okay.
stops at, like, introduce the boss, it's like, "Ha just kidding. Buy the game." I've heard it runs fantastic on Switch, Mark, like 60 frames
Okay.
per second. It's
Good.
wonderful. It runs up to 120 on the big boys. So it's a great game that I've heard this team is potentially working with Nintendo on future properties, which makes me very
Ooh.
happy.
Maybe
Okay.
the next
Well,
Metroid.
maybe, yeah,
I've heard
maybe
potentially a Zelda game
Nintendo's.
might be in the offing, is what I've heard.
Mm,
They'd be very good. They'd be very good.
okay.
Oh well.
All
That's
right.
interesting.
So yeah,
Very cool.
yeah, very, very cool. Well, that's what we've been gaming. So I think it's now time to get to our bonus round. But before we do that, I think we need to thank our sponsors. Hey, Secret Friends Unite, let me tell you about Zencaster. We use them for our show, and now they're supporting us. Zencaster is now the all-in-one solution making podcasting easy. It's the ultimate web-based podcasting solution, provides high-quality audio and video podcast production and hosting. With a full suite of professional tools, podcasters can seamlessly record, produce, and publish studio-quality content, all from one dashboard. Being a creator has never been easier. And we chose Zencaster because of the ease of use, high quality output, and it makes it super easy for our guests to come on. We had multiple solutions we tried before, and Zencaster has just been the best fit for us. Why Zencaster? It's now super easy to record a podcast with Zencaster. Log in using your browser and start recording a high quality podcast right away. Record studio quality sounds and up to 4K video with your guests. Feel a sense of zen knowing Zencaster's multi layered backups ensure you always have your recordings in the highest quality, even if the connection is unstable. Have you ever worried what you sound like? Zencaster's post production process makes you sound buttery smooth. It automatically removes those ums and ahs in your recording. It removes those awkward pauses in conversation too. Set the right podcast loudness and levels while reducing background noise with the click of a button. So, if you're interested in making an easy, high quality podcast just with the click of a browser button, go to zencaster.com/SFU and use our code SFU, and you'll get 30% off your first month of any Zencaster paid plan. I want you to have the same easy experience I do for all my podcasting and content needs. It's time to share your story. Now back to the show. And we are back with the Couchy Awards. This is 2023 Couchy Awards. We actually have an award, Merc. We have been doing this, I believe, since 2019. That's when we started the podcast. So quite honestly, this is like our 5th year, I think, of the podcast. So congratulations.
Yeah.
And thanks for keeping
Go
me
us.
around. So
Thanks
the
for keeping me
Couchies,
around. You kidding me?
yeah.
Jeez.
So the whole point of co-op is playing together on a couch locally, and that's why our word is couch. So it's the Couchie. So if that was confusing to people, I know Secret Friends Unite sometimes sounds like a dating app and a couch. Sorry, folks, get your mind out of the gutter. We're talking about gaming on a couch together. And please join us on our couch for future podcasts. If you're interested, let us know. But with that, we get into our awards. So we have our different categories. So the first category is biggest news story of the year. So we're going to involve our community in this. So we've got some great submissions from a few folks. So thank you so much for joining us in this in our couchies. And I'll start off with our winter gamer, Brandon Myers. He says GTA 6 trailer and how it was revealed, how many people that he worked was actually talking to him about the game. So basically, this is the game that breaks through to everybody who is not a gamer. It's the one thing. GTA has been around for over 20 years and it still talks to people. I saw the trailer and was pretty impressed. Still don't know much. We probably won't see a gameplay trailer until next year, but pretty cool. Your thoughts on the GTA 6 trailer? I mean, not the trailer, but just the news of it. Logan, any thoughts?
It's a GTA game for sure, or maybe I don't know. I mean, they showed about. I mean, it looks like a GTA game. That's all I can say. I mean, maybe when I have my own kids, it'll come out, so that'll be great.
And I never let Logan play the GTA games, so I don't know if you've actually even played them. So I don't know if you have a take on it.
And you can get a lot of information from the internet, and I mean, it looks okay. It's not anything like it looks like people at this point use it as a sandbox more than anything else. So this will just be a new sandbox kind of as to just to make new things in, I guess.
When you're not old like us, you're less than impressed by where we came from. So, Mark, GTA 6, is this do anything for you? I mean, I understand the importance of this game, but you think this was a huge story? You're muted, Mark.
Oh, sorry. I'm feeling like the same way that Logan was. I'm like, for me, it was like, it's a GTA trailer. Like, yeah, cool. There's another one. Yeah, it's been 80 years since GTA 5's been on, 70 different console generations. Like for me, it's cool. But at this point, I kind of wanted to see more. Like, it's been so long. A little sizzle trailer showing like Florida guy and whatever is just like, I don't know, it's more GTA, whatever. Um, like Logan said, I think the longevity of GTA is more the sandbox stuff, and they didn't really show any of that. So, more recent GTA stuff has been a little too serious for me, a little bit. Like I liked it back in the PS2 games with, GTA 3 and San Andreas, and like when they do weird stuff like the Ballad of Big Gay Tony or whatever that one was called, like that kind of stuff was like a little goofier, right? Like even GTA 4 with like, hey Nico, like it was a little bit more cartoony, a little bit more animated, and I thought a little bit more fun, that made GTA like over the top, right? Like when you try to get that 5-star level to see how long you could survive with the whole army coming after you. Like that was kind of, I don't know, I had fun with those games. And then newer games, it's just kind of like, yeah, okay, it's like an episode of Sopranos mixed with like, uh,
Jersey Shore.
like yeah, I guess, right? It's just like, and that's fine. Like I get the appeal of that, but like there's something, I don't know. There's some bit of that like funness that's kind of lost to me in GTA 5, and seems like they're leaning more into it again in 6. So it's like, I don't know, I'll see. Show me more before I'm gonna get like super excited about it. But like, I mean, it's GTA. It's gonna be good. But yeah, I'm feeling the same way. Like, okay, cool. It's a trailer.
Yeah, I think because technology is, you don't see those advancements. It looks
Yeah.
very similar to GTA 5. I know it's better, of course, but to me, it's like once you get to a certain point, it's like the graphics aren't blowing you away, and everybody's like, "Oh, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that." I'm like, "Cool," um,
Yeah.
but it doesn't feel like it's like breaking new ground. Once we see gameplay, that's when they'll wow us with what makes this special. But at this point, to me, it's too soon. We probably have to wait later, probably end of the year, before we get a gameplay trailer, because the game isn't coming out until 2025. So a little bit soon, but
Yeah.
I think it's just like, yeah, this was expected, and nothing blew me away. But yeah, it's going to be pretty. Let's see, Famous Seamus, his story, Mark.
Yeah. So the biggest news story from Famous Seamus. I'm just gonna read this one. The Famous Seamus wrote a ton of stuff. Some of them I might summarize, but I think this one's important. I'm gonna do something Jeff Keighley won't do and say something about the tons of layoffs that happened throughout the year. Microsoft, Ubisoft, BioWare, Naughty Dog, Epic Games, Amazon Games, Bungie, the entire disgusting way Embracer Group has been shutting down studios left and right, and somehow even more. Yeah, I read some today or yesterday. Like Thunderful Games was even laying off a bunch of people, like indie studios. It's crazy. Seamus wrote, "It effing sucks. This may have been a great year for games, but terrible for developers. It's just despicable how companies can give CEOs and higher ups millions of dollars in bonuses and stuff like that, I'm assuming as well, but won't give their employees any job security. Sorry, this one's a bit of a downer, but I felt that someone had to say something." Um, I don't disagree. It's a news story that oftentimes kind of gets, it doesn't get the attention that something bright and cheery does, but important nonetheless, because these are the people making the games rather than the CEOs just being like, "Hey, make a shooter that is online and people will buy DLC for. Let's sell a $20 Hello Kitty charm for a gun, and I'll buy a second yacht, and also 25% of the workforce is fired." Like, yeah, valid downer of a news story for sure.
Yeah, you can't be creative and worried for your livelihood. And apparently, GDC did a poll and said over 50% of the developers feel like their job is at risk. So that's scary.
Wow.
Kotaku does a good list of like layoffs, 7,000 layoffs in 2023, and 23 days into 2024, and 3,800 layoffs have been announced in 2024.
Oof.
Twitch,
Mercy.
Riot just came out. Um, even Microsoft had huge layoffs in 2023, and they're the most valuable company in the world, even beat out Apple. So
Yeah.
that's unfortunate, because we want people to be creative and people to feel like Logan's age, to feel like they could have a career in gaming, versus feel like, why bother if I'm going to spend
Yeah.
my creative basically to help someone make money off it and then unemploy me when my game is released.
Yep.
Sorry, Logan. We're making this a really positive experience for you as you go off to college next fall. But Logan's going to be a teacher, so he'll probably teach people, don't go in gaming, go into cool stuff
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
teaching and music, like me. Um,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. So thank you. We'll get back to their picks for future categories, but we're going to get into ours. So for news story of the year, Logan, what was yours?
Mine was the Unity policy change. So,
Oh,
to
yeah.
follow the long list of companies suddenly realizing they need to make money, uh, Unity's like, well, you know how I said you could all use it for free? Well, we like really, really need money. So how about every time there's a download, we take some of that money. And somehow they want to make this policy retroactive, meaning that there's a couple companies that would straight up become bankrupt immediately. There's a very cool graph that I wish I could show that would be large amounts, like 20, 30, 40, 50% of their revenue from their game taken instantly due to redownloads, due to the game being sold for like if a game sold for like $1 and they're taking, some of that profit. I mean, they're barely able to scrape by, and at a certain point with enough downloads, they're actively losing money, which defeats the point of
Well,
making a game if you're literally losing money on every single download. So yeah, thankfully they decided to roll it back after everyone reasonably got upset about that kind of policy, but it is scary because they are within their legal rights to do that. They own the platform. They're able to change the agreement whenever they want. It's just they do need to make money, but I don't think I think they should have probably thought of that before they made it completely free for everyone to use or really cheap for everyone to
yeah.
use. Same thing with like Reddit. Like, oh, we suddenly need to make money now. Twitter though, that I don't think we'll ever make money.
The funny part about that, Logan, I think I was telling you, like, they even said Unity was saying, "Well, what about games on Game Pass and PC Plus?" Oh, Microsoft and Sony will cover that. And they're like, we will."
Yeah, sure.
Sure. Yeah, great idea. Yeah, and Unity has become like the problem with that is a lot of people who learn game development, that's what they know, Unity.
Yeah.
There are other free engines, that we have Unreal, obviously, and they have different deals with developers, like we'll take a cut, or if it makes so much, we'll take a cut. But there's
Yep.
others. Hopefully somebody will create a tool set that's usable, like those, like in Adobe Premiere alternatives. I mean, there's alternatives for other things that people use, and hopefully those come about so people don't have to feel like, well, I got to use Unity because that's all I know, and
Hmm.
that's a challenge. Yeah, it's a shame, and they did change, and their leader resigned, but looks like they're not done doing stupid things. So I assume a lot of people will probably choose to look at different engines and different things in the future.
That's the thing. There's a difference between we need to make money, so let's do something to make money, and we need to make money, so let's create a policy that's going to bankrupt us in a year. Like nobody, if they've done this before and they say we're probably going to do some stupid things again, like the answer is okay, I guess we're not using Unity anymore. Like nobody's going to pay them. People will shut down their games full stop. It's a digital world, right? Like you can get rid of a game. We've seen it happen. We've seen games die, be unlisted, and whatever. Like people will straight up just like companies will just say like, "Oh yeah, sure, we'll go bankrupt to give Unity money." No, nah, sorry, we had some fun, but we're pulling our game. You don't get a cent, and we'll never use Unity again. Like,
I think Cult of the Lambs threatened to. I don't know if they did or they just threatened, but they did say like they were going to move off of Unity just so that they wouldn't have to deal with it anymore. Which is, I mean, they've managed to turn into something where like, hey, we're going to make money too. Now they have really negative favor, so now they're
yeah,
in a worse spot than they probably would have been, and if they just asked for like donations like Wikipedia, though. I don't think many people would
100%.
donate to Unity, but it would have been more than now, where I think they're now losing probably more money with worse favor.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mark, it
Like if you're
reminds me
starting a
of,
new game, you're not using Unity. Like
no,
with this kind of thing threatening, like why would you?
Mark, it reminds me of Darth Vader, where Darth Vader's a great negotiator because he essentially says, what does Darth Vader say about like contracts and agreements?
Pray I don't alter them further. Basically, is yeah, that's
Exactly.
yeah,
The Darth Vader school of negotiation.
yeah,
Oh,
insane.
yeah. It seems like
Except
we're getting
the
hit.
people that run this don't have choking powers or a lightsaber.
Yeah, except on your purse strings, and your future funds. Yeah,
No.
that's you know what, we're getting hit on all sides. Layoffs, and then we're just going to make it unprofitable for people to make money off of game development. It's a perfect world. So yeah, go into game development, folks, because everybody's looking out for you and want you to prop you up. So with that, Mark, what's your game story? Hopefully, you got a little bit more positive spin, maybe.
Yeah, mine was the Activision Blizzard Xbox finally happened. I'm just happy that just happened. We knew about it for way longer than just last year, but it finally being over, finally being a thing, figuring out who's getting the streaming and these kind of rights and all that kind of stuff. It's all figured out. It's all done, and I'm hoping this is the year that we learn what Xbox is doing with some of those studios and bringing back some franchises that need some love, some stuff that that Call of Duty is sucked all these developers into and that kind of stuff. And it's like, no, guess what? Yeah, you're getting a new Spyro game and you're getting a new this and that. We can do something with Skylanders. We can do something with whatever it is. Like it's just
Guitar
there's
Hero.
so much there that we get. Guitar Hero, yeah.
Nah, I
Um,
don't know about that.
I mean, like Fortnite with a competitor. Like, come on, let's go. Let's just I'm ready for some cool mix up. So I think that finally being a story that we can close that chapter in 23 is going to lead to some cool stuff in 24, and I'm excited.
Agree. I think letting Activision and those studios do something new is the best thing for them. If we don't get a Call of Duty every year, that's not a bad thing. Let some of the people that were making those and support studios, let them do some fun things.
Mm-hmm.
My news story is Baldur's Gate 3 comes out of nowhere and kind of takes the world by storm. We saw it win Game of the Year at the Game Awards. People are finally trying out a game that I think people would have never assumed was a fit for them, and that is basically a computer RPG that was playable on platforms, consoles like PlayStation and Xbox. And people are finding out that it's completely based on D&D, the fifth rulebook, and the fact that that game essentially says you can do whatever you want, including husbandry with people that can turn into bears. If you want. And I love that because it's essentially opening up the world of RPGs that has essentially been gated by PCs to consoles owners, and it seems like it's highly successful. The developers showed what you can do as an independent studio. The voice acting is amazing. People are falling in love with these characters, and essentially, it's basically saying you got to be okay with making decisions and having those decisions play out, and you don't get to go back. And everybody will have a different story to tell. And that's what I love about RPGs when they do that type of thing. It's not a beeline straight story. It can go different ways, and every story is and your story is going to be unique from somebody else. And I've heard like the ways you can, like the fact that you can talk with every animal is amazing, and every animal is fully voiced with dialogue.
Crazy.
I've heard like I saw the murder of squirrels. I don't know if you guys saw that where they killed a squirrel. It's horrific, but it's funny, and it took the world by storm. I love that, and I can't wait to see someone's going to be inspired by that game and make the next cool game, and I love it. Baldur's Gate hasn't been a thing since like the early days of like 2000. So the fact that this game came back and found an audience, it was actually an early release on PC where I think it was like 2000 it came out on PC, and essentially they were told if you play this game early, your saves won't continue. So essentially, you're just being there for the moment, and then people, when it officially launched, basically had to start over again, and they said that's fine. I want to do it now. So I think it's great. The proof is in the pudding. I have it on my Steam account. I am so intimidated by that game. And Logan, it's yours to play if you want.
Don't have the
But
time.
I am worried that it's not for me. But I just wanted to pay for that game to basically root for that team.
Cool.
So there we go. So now we get into just more of our fun categories. These are just like goofy. So favorite hardware / gaming purchase. So at this point, let me look down to see. Oh, Brandon Myers. He says his gaming PC. Yeah, he's been buying lots of stuff. He bought lots of different hardware. He bought the Logitech cloud gaming thing. He's been having a great time, and he's really been enjoying PC, especially PlayStation releases on PC. So, Brandon, I appreciate that. That's awesome. PC is a lot of people are going to PCs this year, which is great. I think it's fun.
Yeah. For sure. Famous Seamus had one for this as well. Close second. He said, part of me wants to go as a special edition for Persona 3 Reload. But that was only a pre-order. Didn't come out, so he didn't think that would count. So he gave this award to all of the awesome art and photos and cool stuff that he gets supporting artists at conventions and like different like websites and stuff like that. Like Black Friday sales, he picked up a bunch of stuff. I've seen this guy at two different conventions last year. Like, he's not lying. Like, he posts his stuff in the Secret Friends Discord, but like, he's going through conventions with like bags, like ready to go. If you see Famous Seamus coming towards a vendor, like a little vendor town or whatever for like a convention, like, get ready. He's supporting you. Like, he is the man when it comes to like supporting local artists and just the talent that goes to these conventions. Like, incredible. I couldn't even believe his like the hauls that he was going away with at the conventions I saw him. Like just amazing support for all the artists that show up. It's awesome.
Yeah, and quite honestly, I think if Famous Seamus would need like two houses to put up all of his artwork. Oh, it's
Yeah,
amazing. And
yeah,
he just and he even rebuys things, which is funny. But yeah, I love his support of artists and the things he loves. So he's always
yeah.
excited to show us, and I love seeing it because I know what the feeling is when I go to conventions too. Mark, I'm sure you've seen it where you're like, I want to buy that, I want to buy that, I want to buy that, and I want to buy that, and it's hard to resist.
I got so overwhelmed at one of the conventions, and he's going with like 2 bags full of stuff at least. And I got so overwhelmed that I bought one pouch and had a list of stuff that I wanted to go back to, and then completely forgot. I ended up in a different section of the convention, and was like, "Yeah, I need to go," and like completely forgot to go back and pick up all the stuff because I didn't want to carry it around. And then I just like I got home and I was like, I'm dumb. Like I there were so many things that I wanted, and like I missed the boat completely. So
Yeah.
like yeah, he just goes for it. He just does it. It's awesome.
Yeah, Logan has seen it. We bought stuff at cons together, Logan,
Yep.
and your stuff is not framed typically. It's hidden away. We're bad about framing and putting stuff up in our house
Yeah.
too. So, but yeah, we'll get better at that. But yeah, it's awesome. I always feel like it's the hangover. You're like, oh, I bought that. I didn't remember. It's
Yep.
always like that way. Oh, very very good. So let's go to Logan. What was your favorite gaming slash hardware purchase?
Uh, new RAM sticks for my PC. That's a fun story.
Woo!
So
Exciting.
my computer that is about maybe 2 years old now,
Summer 2022.
started having random issues where it would just blue screen crash out of just nowhere, and it reached the point where it would happen about every 3 4 minutes, and I'm like, okay, well something's wrong with my RAM. I run my memory test. I learned that you're not supposed to have more than one error for memory test. When I ran it, I had I think 16,000 errors, all off by 1 bit, so that was a little bit bad. Took them out. We're gonna like, okay, we're gonna go buy some. We go and buy some, plug them into my PC. The computer won't start.
It broke his PC.
So we're like, okay, well then we tried a bunch of things. Like, okay, well maybe let's just see if these work at all. So he gets the great idea of plugging the RAM sticks into his PC. His board does not take that type of RAM, so it breaks his PC. So now we have no clue what's going on. He leaves. 2 hours later, I managed to get both of them working. I just cycle like the battery.
Mark,
But
it
it
was
was the RAM
horrific. I
sticks.
looked at it. Logan was taking like metal sticks, metal like pieces like a little tweezers and rebooting it like with a short circuit. It was like this is not PC gaming shouldn't be that hard.
No, yeah, you have to short circuit the
Sheesh.
battery in order to clear all the power so that you can like do a fresh restart,
Mm,
which literally
yeah.
requires you jamming just a metal thing into the battery and just being like, hey, hope this works.
Yep.
Yeah, that was fun, and it was the RAM. We had to buy RAM again, and that RAM worked. So I don't know.
Anybody want to buy some bad RAM?
Yeah,
Jesus. Yeah. It may only break 2 PCs.
yeah.
Holy crap. Wow.
Yeah, that was a fun bonding moment. That wasn't too fun. Yeah,
Only a couple
Yeah.
$1,000 mistake. It's okay.
it could have
That's
gone
all.
completely wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just a
but we
couple. Yeah,
survived. Yeah,
it's like
$60
that's like
in
what? How
RAM
much I
later.
make in
We're
like
good
a
to go.
year?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, Mark, what's yours?
My RG35XX for sure. Love my little retro gaming Game Boy machine. I have convinced a couple of other people to get them. The most recent one, I actually ended up copying my SD card because he just loved like the little hacks and stuff that I had done to mine, the little modifications to like the garlic system and stuff, and different all the different ROMs that I had. He was like, "This is perfect. Just copy this." So it was
First
awesome
hit's free.
to see that. Yeah, um, yeah. So it was cool. It was it's cool to just like show it off to other people that like classic Game Boy games and retro games in general. And yeah, it's neat. So yeah, Ambernick, you can send me my finder's fee or whatever you call that anytime. anytime you want to, because I've sold several of them at this point. I think just like taking it with me and showing it off and playing Pokemon in any place that I can, or like the Grimace game from McDonald's that was released on Game Boy for some weird reason. That should have been my favorite news story. That was such a weird
Oh,
game.
Yeah, Grimace, the Grimace
forgot about that
GBA game,
entirely.
or
Was it
Grimace, yeah.
Game Boy Color, right?
was the game
Game
good?
Boy Color,
Yeah.
yeah. It was solid. Like it was fairly
We're on a
like
skateboard.
a skateboard. Yeah,
Yeah.
for some of it.
Is that your one selling point? There's a skateboard, so it's like the best game.
Grimace
So.
on a skateboard, that should sell
Yeah,
millions.
True.
if that didn't sell you, I don't know what will. Like it's Grimace on a skateboard. Come
They didn't put it.
on.
They didn't put it in the Game Award just because it'd be too unfair. It wouldn't be interesting if it won every category. So they just had to bar it.
100%. Yeah, would have
Yeah.
swept. Yeah, for sure. It was. I mean, it was like for a weird free McDonald's tie-in to a Game Boy Color game coming out in 2023. Like it was better than it should have been for that description. I'll say
Incredibly
that much.
specific
If they
category.
get to make it. We don't even know
Yeah.
who made the game, to be honest.
Oh no, I
We?
found out who made it. I
we
can't
do?
remember
Oh, okay.
offhand, but like there was someone that made it, and it was through. They basically used it like a free online tool that you can actually like design games. It's like Game Designer, or Game Boy Color Designer, Game Boy something.
And
But
that
like
boy
it was
Shigeru Miyamoto.
I can't remember what it is, what it was made, but it was like it's so random, it's so great. But yeah, it's Cruel Toys developed it.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
yeah, and you can actually get like you can play it on their website, but like it actually runs on the original
Yeah.
hardware.
That's awesome.
Just wild.
Gotta love it. Very, very cool. I also had an RG35XX, and last time I saw it was when I was in Europe. So maybe it's in Europe. I don't know. I did get a replacement that I showed you, Mark. It's kind of like looks more like an SNES controller with a screen in the middle, but I loved it, and I still have it, and I still use it. It's fun. So I like that. The year of
Nice.
the retro emo devices is definitely 2023. So if you like that, buy one. It's fun. For me, it was my gaming PC because I was struggling. Logan knows my woes with my old gaming laptop. It was like 150 degrees Celsius at times, or ridiculous. Would fry an egg. So I eventually found someone to buy it off of me, and I bought a gaming PC, or I built a gaming PC. Logan, we built
Why would you
Logan's
sell
last year.
that? Breakfast
I
and
know.
games?
I was gonna
Exactly.
say you could boil tea in it. Just pour it in, the water starts boiling, 100 degrees Celsius. It's perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it was so much fun to build it and get it going, and it's really stable, works great. I love it, and I'm back into gaming. I'm doing a lot of PC gaming. I love it. I work at my desk all day, and you think, hey, you should probably not sit at your desk and game, but I love it. I think it's great for certain type of games. It just works that way. Others, I want to sit on my couch, but I love my gaming PC. What can I say? It's really fantastic. So, especially with Steam and sharing libraries with Logan, it's been great. So, love it, love it, love it. So, on to the next category. Old game you finally played / beat in 2023. This is kind of like that. We're talking about, we want to really support old games too, not just the most new and modern. So with that, Brendan Myers said old games, Star Wars Fallen Order, even though he played it before, but he wanted to revisit it before Jedi Survivor, which is a good idea. Sometimes go back to it so you're up to speed. Mark?
Famous Seamus went back to Horizon Zero Dawn. The first game he bought on PS4, never finished it due to other stuff, and still needs to beat the DLC, but finally went back and finished it.
That's fantastic.
So it's a
It's a
fantastic
game
game.
I
He's
had to
going to
play
get
on
to
story
Forbidden
mode
West.
because I was not very good at the combat, but I like the story. Logan, you're giving me that disapproval.
My difficulty peer is to play at the highest. I had to play at the highest difficulty on every game I play just because it feels more rewarding to me. And then I backseat game
Shame is
him
fun.
every time I see him playing a game, so I'm sure he loves that.
Yep. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's get into what old game you finally played to beat in 2023 for you, Logan?
There's two. One of them I'm really proud of. That's why it's here. The other one is just a good game. I finally played Doom Eternal in the DLC. I don't know how I haven't played it yet.
Oh, that's right.
It was fantastic. I loved it. Played on the Xbox.
Yes.
It is great experience, especially on like the higher difficulties. It is very hectic. It's crazy. It is. I don't know how I didn't play it. I played Doom 6 2016. I tried it and I just it felt a little bit slow. It's a bit weird to me, but Doom
Mm.
Eternal just it felt like it flowed a lot better. It was a lot more fun. I will say the DLC it was okay. It was cool, but I think the base game is still really really good. And then my second one was I finally beat Celeste Chapter 9 Farewell
Ooh.
after
Oh,
3 years of being stuck on it and just not touching it, and I ended up with a total death count of I believe 7,000 deaths because I would
Mercy.
try it on and off, and then I would give up, and I finally just said, "Well, I'm gonna sit down," and I think it took me 8 hours straight. So, but I did
That's
it,
such a
and so I
rewarding
never
game
touched
to
it again.
finish.
Yeah,
Yeah. So amazing. And one of those ones that like usually like depending on the game, especially now where like my gaming time is limited and my like who has the TV is limited for me. Like sometimes I will turn down difficulty for that. That's one game that I was like, I'm not touching the difficulty on this one. I'm playing it full stop, and as if I die 7,000 times, I'm doing it. Like such a great game.
yep, yeah.
very cool.
It's part of the experience. The deaths, the whole literally climbing the mountain. It was a fantastic game. Story's great too. Music's amazing. Even after the 50th hour, I think I've heard that one track play. It's still really good.
Yeah,
Very
so good.
cool. What about you?
This was a weird one for me because most of like if I'm going back to an old game, this year has been all about
Pokemon.
replaying Pokemon games. So I'm gonna like, although I finished those games before, I kind of want to say that as like the game I've been going back and focusing on and trying to like beat each mainline game or an entry, a version of each mainline game. So finishing Fire Red, and I suppose that was the first time I did play Fire Red because I only played Pokemon Blue. I never played Fire Red or Leaf Green. So I suppose I could say that one. I have played Gold, but I've never played Crystal, so that's what I'm playing now. So yeah, I guess I'll use those. I also went back to kind of finish up Lego Star Wars the Skywalker Saga. Because I'd picked bits and pieces of that, but then kind of went back uh, to that one and really kind of focused it towards the end of the year. So yeah, but Pokemon I think would be my big one. What about you, Todd?
Uh, I had really had two. So these are games I actually played and completed. So one of those would be the Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath. This was the DLC for Mortal Kombat 11. Never got to, but I went back because Mortal Kombat 1 was coming out. So loved it. I'm a sucker for fighting game campaigns, and this game was great. It was wacky. It was over the top. It was awesome. Plus, I got all the DLC characters that I finally got to play, like RoboCop. It was a blast. I absolutely loved it. So beat that. The other game that I finally played last year or in 2023, but it came out in 2022 was Evil West. And Evil West, I've talked about this before. It's essentially one of those like B tier games that just feels so good playing. You're killing vampires. It's over the top. It knows what it is, and I loved that game to pieces. So it was Evil West. So props to that studio. I hope they get to do something bigger and brighter in 2025 or whatever they do in the next game, because I thought that game was a guilty pleasure that I just wasn't very feeling guilty about. I loved it.
Awesome.
So now we get to the kind of mixed bag awards, and this one, Mark, I don't. You explain what this award is.
This is the Hot Trash in the Summer Award, named after our dearly departed friend Bobby Pauls. Um, So if Bobby had this amazing way of you could like something or you could be trying to argue the good points of something and be like, well, it's not all bad. There's this you could like about it, there's that. And with one dismissive little like sentence, he'd shut down any argument and that'd be pretty much it. And usually that argument was, no, it's hot trash in the summer. And you can't really come back from that. That's it. Like if it was hot trash in the summer, argument's done, you're moving on. That game's just hot trash in the summer. So this one is named after, and it's weird to name something like, disappointing or whatever, but like to me that was like just
It
such
was
a Bobby
Bobby.
thing of just like, right, like it was, he could just shut down like whatever. And I'd always try, anytime Bobby and I get together, be like, oh, Nintendo's showing off this thing, it looks okay, it's like maybe this
It's
person
the
will like it or
Kirby
maybe
game.
you'll,
Kirby game's gonna be hot.
right.
Yeah.
I'd be like, trash in the summer, no, shit, I'm shut
Yeah.
down. So like, Bobby, we love you, miss you, and you know I'm sure you're looking down and saying like,
Todd, shut the hell
keep it
up.
moving. Yeah, keep it moving. That's hot trash in the summer. So
Exactly.
here we go. This is the hot trash in the summer awards. What do we have from our listeners here?
Oh
Sean
yeah.
Nias wrote one for this one, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. So Sean is he's our Microsoft critic at the moment, which is just sad. He says Microsoft owns studios' inability to launch games at the level of Sony. Makes me sad
Yeah.
because I even took Sean to that Microsoft game event at a theater. We went together,
Right.
and I think he
Yeah.
was so excited and hyped for Starfield. He even bought the watch edition. And yeah,
Oh
it
yeah.
just did not it doesn't pay off for him. Yeah, and
No.
then Henry, Sean's son, said Starfield. Wow.
Yeah.
Hardcore.
You can't really. I mean, yeah, you can't argue too much. We also got the Winter Gamer, Hellboy, Hot Trash in the
Oh,
Summer.
that hurts my heart.
Okay.
I love Hellboy.
Yep.
I was excited about the game, but I've heard it's got problems.
And Famous Jameis, Redfall. Don't want to beat a dead horse, but wow, what a disappointment, especially from Arcane. Okay, fair. Logan,
Well,
what you got?
I'm not sure if I want to say this one because I might be canceled in real life actually.
Oh no.
First one is pretty easy. Destiny 2 Lightfall. That was something that happened.
Oh.
Was sad. I haven't touched the game, I think, in about 6 months, which might be the longest time I've played the game since I started playing it again 3 years ago, just because of the community, everything going on, the layoffs. I don't really want to touch the game. There's a delay on the DLC. I'm probably just gonna play it when the DLC comes out and then just let it finally die off after hundreds of hours. It's sad, but I had a lot of fun playing it, so I'm not too sad. And then there's my one hot take. Tears of the Kingdom.
Okay,
I've talked about this to
let's
you,
get into
Dad,
it.
before a couple times.
Logan is my son, Mark, by the way. He is my son.
I I really love Breath of the Wild, and I do get like, but when you take 7 years to make a game, and the big reveal is there's a couple islands in the sky that are half of them are literally copy pasted, and then the underground is the same as the top world, but we inverted all the settings for the terrain. It's like, really? After I played it,
Yep.
it did feel like more of the same. And at a certain point, it's always great to have more of a good thing, but you can always have too much sometimes. I was hoping for better Breath of the Wild, not more Breath of the Wild, I guess. And it really did just feel like more. I love the fusion idea, but I guess they didn't really improve the combat where I think they should have. It's still just button mash, dodge sometimes. The story is better, but that was a low bar. Let's be real.
Yep. Yep.
Uh, it feels like there could have been more. I like the concept. It just felt like everything needed to be explored a little bit more. If they did more of the Sky Islands or did more of the underground, maybe put some like cool dungeons underground instead of just Divine Beast 2. But
Right.
yeah, I was hoping for more. considering I beat all the shrines, it's hard to say that it was disappointing, but I still felt like, it wasn't what I was hoping for, at least.
Hmm.
Hoping for a little bit more.
Yeah, and Logan was my Sherpa in the game, and one of his
Yeah.
favorite characters right now is Tulin. I even got him a game case with Tulin, and he loves Tulin. But yeah, when we talked about that, I'm like, I'm 50% through, but he helped me find the Master Sword. When I'm like, I don't know how the hell I would have found it without Logan's help. So, yeah, I was surprised when Logan said that. I'm like, wow, you played so much of the game too, but you haven't even beat that, right?
So what happened is I almost beat the game on accident on after killing one boss just because I wanted to see what would happen. And I got all of the very final real phase, and I just neglected to go back and finish it. And I beat all the shrines
Wow.
and it never went back. And I put down the game. I think it was what would have come out around then? I can't remember. There's another game just drew my attention, and I just never went back.
Probably Phantom Liberty,
Hmm.
maybe.
No, that'd been in August. This was in
Okay.
March, so I don't remember.
Oh, Armor Core, probably.
That's what it would be.
There you go. Okay.
Well, all right. I've got some issues with the game. I'm going to talk about that later, but I can't
Ah,
really argue too much
showing us
stuff.
hand right there, Mark.
You know what? It's making my top 5, but for anyone expecting someone with a Zelda tattoo to have Tears of the Kingdom, the follow up to one of my favorite games of all time, anyone expecting it to be my number 1, gonna be disappointed because it's not. So yeah, let's. I'll jump in with my hot trash in the summer award. Is going to. I'm gonna get canceled for this one too from Sean and Henry, I think specifically, because they are going after Xbox and I'm going after Sony, because I don't think Sony has brought it and stepped up and supported PSVR 2 the way that I wanted them to. They just kind of put this thing out to die as far as I'm concerned. I haven't seen anything that's like, pick this up, like add this, spend another PS5 level amount of money on this accessory that still has to be tethered into a dumb system, like with all these other wireless headsets coming out, and like stuff that can also wirelessly connect to a PC, like we've talked about, Todd. Like a Quest 2, Quest 3 isn't tethered to just, or isn't stuck with just what will run on a Quest. You can wirelessly connect it and stream stuff from your PC and expand the library a whole lot. So
Yeah.
PSVR 2, I've been waiting. I even said like my predictions for what I want from this year last episode is like, they need to bring it. They need to give us a reason. I hoped, because I love VR, I want PSVR 2 to succeed, because I think rising tide is going to raise all ships, and I want everything to succeed in VR. I want Apple's crazy expensive new Vision Pro to succeed, even though they're not saying that's a VR thing, but I want that to work. And I want the Quest, and I want all the competitors and stuff, and I want the PSVR to work as well. I haven't seen that from Sony. I'm thinking it's another accessory that they're just like, I don't know, here's a couple of things and whatever. It's not really selling, so we're going to get rid of it. So I hope that's not the case. I hope they bring it this year. But like Hot Trash in the Summer Award, everything that they've done with PSVR 2 up until this point.
Well, the joke's on you, or not, or maybe the joke's on Sean and Henry. They bought an Oculus 3. They got a 3. So there you go.
Yeah.
So that tells you something right there. And we'll talk
Yeah.
about some of their gaming habits there. So yeah, I can't deny that. Yeah, it's very frustrating, and it does feel like something where PlayStation hardware versus the developers were not on the same page, because
Yeah.
we rarely hear about that, and haven't heard any of we haven't heard of like a God of War VR. We haven't heard about like a big property coming to VR, except for Horizon, which we have. There's not even an Astrobot for PlayStation VR, which was a huge part of PlayStation VR1. So that's a shame.
Yeah.
I really wish they really put their mouth or their money where their mouth was.
And when it was first released, like it was like prettier versions of
Yeah,
everything from the Quest
I
2, right? Like the Star Wars game and
oh
everything.
yeah,
But then they released Quest 3, and it's like, here you go. It's wireless and
same
it can do all this
price
stuff,
and
and it's like,
yeah,
shoot, okay,
yeah. And I've talked to Logan. I'm like, I wish they had a trading program for a Quest 1 because I would definitely get a Quest 3 over a PlayStation VR because I don't want to be tethered and I want to play with that tech. And I heard it's really cool. So it looks cool,
Yeah.
yeah,
but we'll see how it
I know
goes.
I know I am less optimistic for VR. I've always said like I think that VR is still at this point like a gimmick.
oh
Bar
yeah,
maybe Half-Life Alyx, which I think might be the only real game that I would consider like, worthy of requiring VR to really be
Yeah.
a better
mm,
experience. But a lot of games just have VR as an added little feature. Not a lot of games need it to be a successful game.
Yeah, and I've played Half-Life Alyx on our Quest with PC Link, and it was
mm,
still limiting, but it was still awesome. So I just want to do it wireless, and Steam now is integrated within Quest 3 now. I think even Quest 2 with Steam. So it works directly. So it's like they're fully going like we want to play and then we have Game Pass coming to or it's already on Quest now too. So
yeah,
it's like
that's there.
you just see the future there and it's like okay, makes total sense. So well, I'm gonna get us back into gaming, hot trash in the summer because it's really sad, but I have to say this: two games I said were most disappointing for me, and that's the last case of Benedict Fox. This came to Game Pass. I was
Mm,
really excited. This seemed like a Metroidvania I was going to love. It was kind of feeling like that. I don't even know the best way to put it. This is almost felt like a Cthulhu, that type of H.R. Lovecraft type of feel. Just a complete miss for some reason. I don't know what happened. I know they were upgrading the game, so maybe I'll go back to it. But at launch, it completely failed to me. It just did not work. So I wish that game luck, but it did not work and deliver what I was thought it would. Because Xbox has been great of highlighting these smaller games that were great, and this game kind of just like nobody reviewed it. The reviews came out and they're not very kind. The other game is Forspoken. This is a Square Enix game, come to PlayStation
oh yeah,
exclusive. Totally missed the mark on the narrative. It was
mhm.
wrong. The combat didn't match. And I'm like, I know they've improved it, but wow, what a huge miss from Square Enix and Sony on a PlayStation 5, exclusive. Oh, what a huge miss. So let's move on. Maybe we get to something positive now. Most surprising game. But, quite honestly, you could put a twist on this, like, the monkey paw to say, surprisingly bad, or, oh, I was so excited for it and it didn't work out. So let's go to our group. I'll go to Brendan Myers. God of War Ragnarok Valhalla. And spoiler, that was mine too. The fact that we got a free upgrade to God of War, it added a roguelike element, but it added story content as well. I played it. It was amazing. I'm not good at like high end combat games, but I loved it and I thought it was awesome. This would work perfect for Logan because we both shared God of War 20 Ragnarok. He loved it too. I think he would be up right up his alley with high end combat with story, but that is mine as well. And yeah, Brennan, you're perfect. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Adding value to old games and doing something cool for free is awesome.
For sure. Famous Seamus, Exo Primal. I thought this game would suck, but I was pleasantly surprised by how fun the game is. Um, that being, he has some more to say. He'd be shocked if Capcom let the game last longer than 2 years, given the state of live service games and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, Exo Primal, pleasant surprise.
It's dumb fun. That is like the Todd
That's it.
version of things where it's like it's not great, but it's a goofy shooting dinosaurs that are like mechanic and they launch from the sky.
Yeah, yeah. Logan.
Okay. I found a Hi-Fi Rush out of nowhere. So if you don't
Oh
know what
yeah.
that is, yeah, that is an amazing game. If you don't know what that is, it's a beat 'em up rhythm game of all things. It's beat 'em up, but everything lands on beats. Every time you hit, it's on a beat. Every time an enemy attacks, it's on beat. It is bursting with charm. It is so well crafted, just out of nowhere. The animation is amazing. The way they switch from 2D to 3D. all the characters have such, emotion. It's not that long, but it is a really great experience. The voice acting is fantastic. It's incredibly tight. I believe it was made by a Japanese studio. If I
Tokyo GameWorks, yeah, that
Yeah.
Tango GameWorks, who is a Xbox
Yeah.
studio that is from Japan, and they have some American devs too, but they're primarily a horror studio, which he makes it even crazier.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just no fanfare, just out of nowhere, just dropped, and I loved it. It's one of my favorite games of this year.
I didn't
Yeah.
know you played that.
I did.
Oh, sneaky child.
That was a super fun game. That was
Yeah.
really, really unique and just tons of personality and charm. I've heard they're taking that to different systems. Like there are rumors that it's going to land on Nintendo consoles, maybe PlayStation, wherever. But
Yeah.
yeah, more people to play that, I
Cool.
think, the better. Because yeah, it's super charming.
Absolutely. Great pick.
Mine is like the surprise because it wasn't a surprise, but it was a surprise. Super Mario RPG.
Mhm.
Like people have been asking for that for 20 years, and Nintendo's always just been like, what do you mean Super Mario RPG? That game doesn't exist. We'll throw it on a retro console and that's pretty much it. Like, don't worry about it. You want Gino and Smash Brothers? Who's Gino? We don't know.
Those
Don't
can't
worry
have
about it.
personalities.
Stop asking. Right? Like so, and then they're just like, hey, guess what? We just remade this game and here it is, and it's great and it looks awesome. Like, what the hell, guys? Like, we've been asked why, and just suddenly, uh, I don't know. I'm not complaining. I loved it. It's great. It was a surprise and a pleasant one, and yeah, that's crazy.
Perfect. Love it. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so great year for games. Love that. Hi-Fi Rush was obviously a big surprise. Uh, Shadow Drop out of the blue, and yeah, good game. So very cool. And I would say just a bonus, and this is not a game I loved, but I love that they did it. Was F-Zero 99. That was a
Oh
huge
yeah.
surprise. The fact that they built on the 99 franchise with F-Zero, which is a franchise people want to come back, but I think the 99 franchise from Nintendo, I hope people don't look past it as a big innovation on Switch, especially Nintendo Online, because without the 99 series on Switch Online, Switch Online would feel like a very sad and lonely place, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good job. Race some cars. Get on top. I want to hear if somebody won. I have never won. I'm horrible. Let's move on to favorite gaming moments. So this is essentially, why we play for these awesome moments. So I'm going to go to Brandon Myers. So he says favorite gaming moment when you get to play as someone else in a game far, far away. So he means Star Wars. So getting to play in Star Wars, I would agree. I almost love playing Star Wars games more than watching the movies or TV series. I agree. It's awesome to feel like you're a Jedi, you're a rogue, whatever. It's awesome. So thank you, Brandon. I agree. And keep being awesome. May the force be with you.
Um, oh, we did miss the biggest surprise from Sean, which
Oh,
is
that's right.
the Fortnite update. Just amazing from Lego racing, all that kind of stuff. So I need to give a shout out to that one before we move on. So then favorite moment from famous Seamus, Invaders Must Die fight. Speaking of Hi-Fi Rush, here we go. To those that don't know, the song that was used in one of the trailers for Scott Pilgrim versus the World. It's a song he's always wanted to see used in a fight scene. And he said, yes, those memes about people on the autism spectrum imagining mind-blowing fight scenes in their head while they're listening to music is true. All right. And it was just a treat to see it being used. So I'm glad that fantasy vision finally got fulfilled. Famous Seamus. That's a pretty great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank
Logan.
you for including those, Mark. So yeah, favorite gaming moment.
I wish I could speak more on this, but I think that I don't know how much this is. One of the endings of Phantom Liberty was one of the
Mm.
my favorite gaming moment. I remember seeing there after it happened. I'm like, there's no way they just made me do that. Like I don't know if I've had that many tough decisions to make making games. Even narrative, it's always like, oh, yeah, it's okay. Well, that's the ending I chose, and I just go back and do the other one. But this one, it's like a little bit more. They build it up so perfectly through the DLC. They really characterize everyone, and that when they finally force you to make a decision, you're not expecting it. You're right at the end, and all of a sudden, you're like, boom, literally. I wish I could. I wish I could.
Spoilers?
No. Well, that's why I want you to play that ending. I've seen both endings, and I do think that the one that I completed with, I'm gonna say this because you're not gonna know any of that context. With the space shuttle is fantastic. Just to
Space shuttle? What? Mark, I don't think Logan knows what spoilers are.
it's a play. All the endings go there. But it's
Okay.
just the way they built the characters is so amazing. It makes those moments in the story so much more dramatic. I don't think the base game really has that level of like drama. Like you care about the characters, but at the end of the day, it's your story. So to have it where you're having to decide between different people and you like your characters in both sides, it's a lot harder to make that decision, and it is really dramatic. They make sure that it is the music is swelling. They make sure it's raining. They do all the best of everything they can. It's weird because I do think that ending is a lot better than the base game ending.
Cool.
Very cool. Yeah, Logan is feeding me hints and tips on what I should do in advance of it, but being very vague so he doesn't ruin it. So he's a good kid. So Mark.
Nice. Yep. Already kind of alluded to mine, so I won't go too much more into it, but just playing games with Finn, seeing his development, and this year he's picked up a lot, but even last year, playing like it's a Gigantosaurus racing and stuff like that I've talked about on the show. Just little things that he could play, the outright games kind of stuff that he's been able to play, Paw Patrol World, like just that kind of stuff, and like seeing him interested in gaming, and now to see how that's carried over to 2024, it's awesome. But those seeds were definitely planted in 23, so that was like my favorite little bit of him, like, oh yeah, this, if I press this button, rubble jumps, or if I do this, it's like, I can race the cart, or like the cart will kind of race itself, whatever. So like those kind of things, that was like my favorite stuff of last year.
Oh wow, we're getting to sappy dad territory, Mark.
Yep.
Because I'm the same boat. This is kind of started off with Logan and I when we talked about God of War Ragnarok, because Logan not played a God of War, so we talked about that last year. Where Logan and I would continue to talk about it, and we talked about our game experience, and in those type of moments as a dad with the son is really awesome. Because I love God of War 2018. Logan has not played it, but I think he should.
Played Ragnarok.
Yeah, 2018. Play 2018. Think you should, just so you get that experience. But for this year, though, it was a game that was totally unexpected. Both, I think, for Logan and I. That was Final Fantasy 16, because I hadn't played a Final Fantasy a game in years. I tried the remake, and it wasn't for me, but Logan really liked that. So I'm like, I've heard about 16. Maybe it's for me because it's going to be more of an action combat game. And I loved it. And I started playing it. Logan saw me, and I think he heard the story. He's like, and he perked up. And then he started playing it. And I'm like, wait, you can't go beyond what I'm doing. And if you do it, I want to have headphones on so I don't get spoiled. And we would go back and forth talking about it, our decisions and what we liked about the game. And it was an amazing experience to share that with someone you love and talk about it. And we're always in the house, so it's something to talk about. And gaming is always something we've talked about and shared as love. But Final Fantasy 16 was awesome, and it was his take on it and how he played it at the highest difficulty. I did not, but we talked about our takes on the game, and it just really added to my experience in the game. And Mark, obviously, as Finn get older, you'll have more of those experiences, and it definitely adds to your enjoyment of games. And he'll disappoint you a couple of times saying, Dad, I don't like that game you love, and he like stab you in the heart, or like, Dad, you're not good at games, you suck, I'm great.
Okay, I didn't say that.
Well, no, he doesn't. He's pretty good about it. But he's like, why are you having a problem with that, Dad? I'm like, I'm not going to admit my weakness. So Mark, remember that
Yep.
when you're a little bit older and weaker and not as good. But it was absolutely a high of my life is just to share that with my son, and he's right here. So, um,
Awesome.
yeah, yeah. High five.
Wait, hold on. You're over here. Oh, there you
Oh,
go.
there we go.
Nice.
It's like we're in the same room or something. Yeah. So there we go.
With
Favorite
the
gaming
backgrounds,
moment.
you kind of forget, and then you just like you see this
Yeah.
little flash, and it's
Exactly.
like,
3
whoa, that
feet
was a
over
real life high five.
behind
That's
me,
awesome.
and you see him in my back and vice versa. Maybe
Yeah.
who knows? Yeah, we're professional uh, gaming
I
place.
say with my gun sheep background.
So here we go into the meat of the show. This is our top 5 games in honorable mention, and the way this is going to work is Mark and I have to decide what our co-op mode game of the year is. We call it the Heart of Hearts, and we may have to dig deep in our lists to find one we share. So, Logan, sorry you'll not be involved in this because, quite honestly, I don't know if you play any of the same games. That there's just no like Venn diagram that would probably cross between the three of us. So we got to eliminate that variable, but that's okay. We might get there. Who knows? We'll find
He
out
might
now.
be the tie-breaking, the deciding factor. Who knows? We'll see how
He
this
might.
plays out.
I have a list of like 38 games I played this year, so I can go deep. Uh,
I
if
was not
needed.
that prepared. We're
That's
gonna
okay.
make this up as we go.
That's okay. Thank you to all of my game sources. So let's start here. We're going to start with basically round robin with the honorable mention. So we'll start with Brandon Myers. Honorable mention. He gave us 4, which is great. He said Fist, Forge and Shadow Tech. A great Metroidvania game. Play that game if you can. It's an older game, but it's awesome. Starfield, obviously NHL 24, and Metroid Prime Remastered that came out at the beginning of the year. Great picks, Brandon.
Yeah, we've got. I'm just trying to find if there's any others, but famous Seamus, honorable mentions. Persona 5 Tactica is the only one. He said it's a game that feels more like Mario Rabbids than XCOM, and an enjoyable story. And seeing the Phantom Thieves again and new characters was great. So a good honorable mention there. Logan.
It goes to all of the dumb rhythm games I've put way too many hours into. Clone Hero. I hold on. Let me see if I can reach this.
Yeah, Clone Hero is basically Guitar
I
Hero on
bought
PC.
this. This is like this was $80 just so I could hardwire this Wii Les Paul guitar.
Plus a
Amazing.
weird USB connector.
Yep.
Yep.
This is actually the second one because the other one was bad. And then a Dance of Fire and Ice, which is I just recently started playing to procrastinate for doing homework. So
And he's now old, so he gets carpal tunnel syndrome because of it.
yep, it was fun.
Right. Yeah. That's how it works. Yeah. Great honorable mentions. I like that. Really. And I did something kind of similar with mine. I did shout out Fortnite's new modes because of the music modes, the jam mode, the Lego and racing. It's just crazy, but it's still Fortnite, so I didn't feel like putting it in my top 5. I also threw GoldenEye in there because that was such a weird
Oh,
surprise
yeah.
of like a game we're never getting. And then was it like January? It was
Yeah.
January, right? Last
Out
year.
of blue.
It's like
Came out.
first thing, right? Like just
Xbox,
out of the blue, just
Switch. Everybody's involved except for
crazy.
PlayStation.
Neither version was perfect, but they were
No.
both a great surprise and a really cool thing. But like I didn't want to give that like a game of the year kind of thing. And then for like an actual honorable mention, because I wanted something solid in here too, I did TMNT Shredder's Revenge because I thought that was great.
Pick. I forgot that came out this year. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my
Great
goodness.
year.
For me, I have a tie. I said Jedi Survivor and Phantom Liberty. Fantastic games. I beat Jedi Survivor. I haven't beat Phantom Liberty, so maybe that's a cheat. But because of my PC woes, my save things like that, I loved it. But I ended up going to the game out of the blue. I didn't intend to start the game, and I asked Logan, I'm like, should I play it? And he goes like, sure, go have fun. But and I love it. So both those games are phenomenal, and because it's such a great year in games. That's the problem. But so these are my both honorable mentions. So if you need to dig into the honorable mentions to get to a game of the year, I'm perfectly fine with that. But those are great
Okay.
games. I loved both
Noted.
of them.
Awesome.
Number 5.
Let's jump in.
Let's go. So Winter Gamer. He says most likely in order. So I don't know if it's the bottom or the top. Maybe it's the bottom. I don't know. These are in order. I'll just start with Diablo 4, even though I didn't play as much
Yeah.
as I would like because you can't pause.
Right.
Online gaming. You suck. Let us pause.
For famous Seamus, we have Penny Larceny, gig economy supervillain. Yeah. Logan.
Okay.
Make up that own description in your head if you would like.
Like I said, was that a
That's it.
confession or?
Nobody knows.
Okay, so my number 5 is The Lies of P, weird Bloodborne X. I don't know, some Pinocchio, Souls-like game,
Yep.
fantastic, great game, great way to remove all the dumb parts from Souls-like games. Really fun.
I watched him play.
Sweet.
He was amazing, Mark. It was cool to watch him play.
Nice. I already mentioned this one as the most surprising game. I loved it. Number 5 for me is Super Mario RPG.
Good pick. Good pick. Great remake and bring you up to speed.
Yep.
For me, Hogwarts Legacy, a game I wasn't sure was going to like. That game got a lot of bad press because of certain things in regards to the author. I totally get it. I understand why people wouldn't support that. I was taken from a lens of myself and my wife. We both love the franchise and know how much joy it brought us. And we want to support the people that might be on that team that do support a LGBTQ plus lifestyle. And that was the fact that the game even supports people doing some things that would support that. I loved it. I beat that game. I loved it. I know so many people are finding that joy in that game. It's wonderful, and I can't wait to see what they do next. But I would love to see this be a sign of giving a middle finger to horrible creators and letting the people that love the franchise have fun in that world and not let them ruin it.
That was my wife's game of the year too.
Yeah, she made my hours in look just like I was a rookie.
She made everyone's hours look like they were a rookie. That's she put a ton into that one.
Absolutely. So number 4, let's see, going back. Oh, and Sean, number 5. So he didn't put his in order either. Looking at this list, I'm gonna say probably NFL Pro Era 2, which I did play at Sean's house. I actually have a video. Sean took a video of me stubbing my toe as I ran playing the game. It was ridiculous. It's a hell of a great way to play football in VR. So yes, I look like an idiot, but we had a fun time. And then Henry, I'm gonna say Avatar, the new game from Ubisoft. It's a cool game. It wasn't for me,
Very cool.
but I could definitely see it being the Far Cry game in the Avatar lens. So very, very cool. So number 4, we get back to Brendan Myers. We're gonna say Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Good job. We've heard Logan's take on it. Glad you liked it.
Yep.
There we go.
Yep. You want to grab Sean's too?
Yeah, Sean. I will say Horizon Zero. I can't remember the name of the game. It's Horizon Zero Dawn in VR. I played it at Sean's house as well. It's phenomenal. It's really cool. And the fact that you're climbing, you're looking at these vistas, it's beautiful. Probably one of the most beautiful games of VR I ever played. So I totally get where Sean's going with Horizon on VR too. And
Henry
then
had the same
Henry. Yeah, great. Not surprising. They love VR in that household. They had PlayStation 1, they had that, and now they have Quest.
And it is the Forbidden West. That is the name.
Forbidden West.
And Logan, we'll go over there eventually, and you'll get to try it out too.
Famous Seamus, Little Goody Two Shoes, a horror narrative adventure about Elise, a young maid in a rural town in medieval times, who tries to complete a deal from someone who may or may not be Satan. Sounds interesting.
Oh my goodness!
They're
Dig
full
deep,
of
folks.
interesting-
Get your Google safe search on, and then look up that game.
That's it. Logan, what do you have in the spot?
Cyberpunk 2077 2.0 specifically. So that's the DLC as well. I mean, we've already
Nice.
talked about it. It's fantastic. They managed to make the game run marginally better. Still a lot of bugs, but I think it's part of the charm. And the story is great. Game's more balanced. It's a lot of fun.
Yep. For me in this spot, I said I was gonna come down on this game lower than people probably expected from me. This is where I put Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom as my number 4. I love Breath of the Wild. I love this game. It was great, but like for me, the issue, and I talked about it already on this, so I'm not gonna like go into it too much, but like playing this after playing Jedi Survivor, I think really hurt this game for me because Jedi Survivor just picked up the story. You still had some powers. You elevated everything from the first game. You didn't have to start over again. You didn't feel like you were taking 6 steps back before you could take 1 step forward. It just continued and made everything better. And then I jumped into this game, to Tears of the Kingdom, and it was like, why am I starting from scratch again? Why am I basically just like an infant, stumbling around in the grass? Like, what? Why do I have to do this all again when I put 200 hours into Breath of the Wild? And this is a direct continuation. And I just felt like it was such a slog to get started. Once it did, it was great. But like for me, the enjoyment was a little bit sapped out of it. So it ended up number 4.
Yeah, it's kind of frustrating though. They feel like I have to do the shrines even if I don't enjoy them because I need to get more stamina or this. And I hate that it feels punishing rather than an alternate because I enjoy doing that thing. And for me, the shrines are not enjoyable, so it's like more busy work, and that's a challenge. Logan, are you muted?
There you go. I think the problem is a lot of the cool and fun mechanics that all the building stuff, all the cool rocket things you can do, unfortunately just aren't more effective than just hitting something with a stick than a pointy rock at the end. And that's kind of the
Yeah.
issue. The best way to play the game is to not engage with any new stuff. And at that point, you're just playing Breath of the Wild again.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I did like the fusion aspect because I think it took away the argument of weapon degradation. So I think that was a
Mm.
big positive. And it did make a lot of positives, but yeah, it was just not. After Breath of the Wild, it's very hard to say like, okay, uh, convince me this is going to rule my world again. So totally get it. Yeah. For me, Resident Evil 4 remake. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I love Resident Evil 4. That was the reason why I bought a GameCube. And the fact that Resident Evil is now because probably one of my favorite franchises of all time. They've done a great job of remaking games and then using new, the first person perspective on that franchise. I love it. And they added the Separate Ways DLC, which I never played before, and they made it fantastic. So I don't know what else to say, but I couldn't stop playing that game, and they've updated the combat so well that I think it's amazing. And I know it's a remake, so I don't know if that counts or not, but for me, it did.
It counts if you say it counts.
Cool. You guys mind if I take a potty break really quick? Because I'm going to pee my pants. If I don't, I'll be back in a second.
Yeah, that's definitely preferable.
Number 3. Let's start there. Oh my goodness. This is going to get hard. We get down to Brendan Myers. He has Super Mega Baseball 4. That's a cool franchise.
Good
People
pick.
like it. If they
Yeah.
want more arcade baseball, I believe it's free on Game Pass. Very cool. I love that art style if you want a little more arcade baseball.
What did Sean have?
Yes, it would be
Diablo
Diablo
4?
4,
Nice.
which Sean and I played co-op for a while. It was very good. I'm waiting until it becomes free on Game Pass to play more, but it's a
Right.
cool game. I really think Diablo is really good. It's got some issues that it's worked on, and there's going to be an expansion coming soon.
Henry had Asgard's Wrath 2. Very
That
cool
is
pick. Looks like
turning out to be
cool
like
game.
a game of the
Yeah.
game, like the must-have game for VR right now. Asgard's Wrath
Yeah,
2.
looks really
Apparently,
cool.
it's heard like it's like a God of War where you feel like you're throwing your axe, you're doing things, and yeah, it makes me a little jealous I don't have a Quest 3.
Looks pretty neat. I got to pick that one up. Famous Seamus, Super Mario Brothers Wonder, amazing platformer that rejuvenated the 2D gameplay. Yeah, totally agree. And the debut of Mario's and Luigi's new voice actor does a good job. And I'm gonna jump in and say I had the same game for my number 3, so
Very
I'm gonna
cool.
repeat what what Famous Seamus said. And the new power ups are fun to play around with. The Wonder Flowers, when you find them, they make things trippy. Famous Seamus wrote "trippy AF." Couldn't agree more. And it's been a fun one to play. And again, I'm putting some time into that one with my son, so it makes it even better for me. So yeah, great number 3.
Yeah, I would agree. It's not on my list. It would be probably be like within my top 10 or top 12. Great game. I've enjoyed what I've played. It's got some difficulty, so it might be too difficult for some people, but it's got co-op, all those cool things. They're playing around with it. I like all the selectable characters. I like the badges. I think it's a really cool take on Mario, especially after Mario Maker, where people said, "What else can you do with 2D Mario?" Well, let's add some weird to it. So take some of this electric lettuce, as Mark would say, and go crazy. Logan, I think you'd enjoy the game. I think it's a cool take on the 2D Mario.
Yeah.
Let's see. My number 3 is Hi-Fi Rush. I've already talked about it.
Nice.
Play it if you haven't.
Yep.
I'm bad at the timed like you have to repulse the shots. I'm bad at that. So I've heard they've changed some things. So I'm gonna give it a try again.
Yeah. Nice. What's your number 3, Todd?
Final Fantasy 16. I struggle with Final Fantasy, and this game was so just delivered on so many levels. The story is amazing. I like the combat quite a bit, and it was really the combat. I would say for some people was a miss because this was not really an RPG by any means. It was an action combat game. The guy from Devil May Cry came in to help this game, so it's an action combat game. There are some minimal RPG elements, but I loved it. I love the combat. It was compelling. Some of the voice actors are amazing. Clive, Ben
yeah.
Starr is amazing. I love Sid though. Sid was my favorite voice actor. He was amazing. Gone Too Soon, a voice actor from Game of Thrones, was amazing. I just loved the icon battles between like the Ifrit and all of the different characters you played as, and it was fun. And the game ends on a note that I was not expecting, and especially when you think of like they want to continue the franchise. I'm like, I don't know what they're going to do next to continue this, but it was heartbreaking and enjoyable, and I really loved it. And it took me out of my place thinking about JRPGs on what they can do with from a storytelling lens, because I have in my mindset like, oh, it's going to be people that are over to the top, weird voices, inappropriate dialogue for like things I would have expected. But I think they really managed to really come forward from a Western perspective, and I really liked it. It definitely feels like the Game of Thrones of Final Fantasy. So it was my number 3. I already talked about I shared it with Logan, so it's definitely was amazing to me because it was a game that was not on my radar at all.
Cool.
To save time, I will say this is also on my list somewhere, and I'm going to talk about it now because it's not number 1. But I will say
That's okay.
the one thing that I would change with the game is that there is 2 difficulties, and it's story mode and not story mode. So that means that it's very hard to have a challenge in the combat sometimes. I think, Dad, you said you died like 2 times the entire game.
Yeah, I didn't die much, which is amazing because I'm pretty good at dying.
Yeah, and I ended up trying to fight all the notorious marks like 10 levels under, but then I would be over leveled after killing them. So I ended up resorting to taking off all the armor and using none of the healing items for a challenge, which was an interesting way to make the game harder. But I wish if there's just a couple difficulty options, it's the only thing I would change with the game. Besides that, it is very, very good in almost all aspects.
And there's
Nice.
DLC coming to the game, but unfortunately, it's going back in the past versus moving forward. So that would be frustrating for a lot of folks. So like, oh, I want to see what's next. So
It did actually apparently it was an ambiguous ending. So it's up to you to decide kind of what happened.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Interesting.
Okay, so we're number 2. Oh my goodness. We're getting down there, folks. So we go with Brendan Myers. God of War Ragnarok Valhalla. Oh my goodness. Great pick.
Nice.
Great pick. Yeah. Let's see. I can take Sean, and then you can do Henry and
Sure.
famous We get to Super Mario Wonder with Sean, which is surprising because he's not been the biggest Nintendo fan for a long time.
Mm.
But I remember when we played Wii in his house, and he loved it. And we played Smash Bros. So great pick.
Might be some family dynamic father-son stuff going on here because Henry's number 2 is Super Mario Wonder as well. So maybe they played it together, had a good time, and that put it up there for them. For famous Seamus, we've got Spider-Man 2. Amazing game with a great story, performed by an astonishing voice cast. And yeah, what more can you say? The ultimate Spider-Man game. Pretty good. Logan.
Two's Final Fantasy 16. Very, very great. Already said it. There's nothing more fun than fighting a boss for 40 minutes. Not because it's hard, but because there's that many phases and it's just way over the top. I didn't think that my
Nice.
PS5 could do that, so.
Awesome.
Mark?
Mine is admittedly a bit, I'll say, like, controversial. I just put it in the number 2 spot just to be a little different. You could really swap this one with Super Mario Wonder, and probably in the long run, Super Mario Wonder will be one of my more favorite games and would replace this one like long term. But I'm going to give the number 2 spot to Pikmin 4 this year because it
Oh, I
surprised the
was expecting that to
hell
be
out of
your
me.
number 1.
No.
Oh.
So you can probably guess what my number 1 is by now. But Pikmin 4 absolutely just captivated me. I couldn't put it down. I was thinking about it when I wasn't playing it, and I just needed to finish this game. I needed to keep playing after I thought, the story was done and all that kind of stuff. Just absolutely just enthralled with Pikmin 4. I thought they just nailed that cycle, nailed the story, and made things interesting. 4 games in with that day night crash land on a planet and find some stuff kind of formula, and I loved every second of it. So yeah, Pikmin 4. Like I said, I think I could probably put this in my number 3 spot and swap Super Mario Wonder up there, but for right now, I'm gonna Pikmin 4 for my number 2. I thought it was great.
Very cool. I so want to try the demo because I've heard so many people love it, and I'm like,
Great
I
stuff,
want to
man.
love
You should,
Pikmin, and
you should try it.
I definitely want to try it. Very, very
Yeah.
cool. Cool. My number 2 is Spider-Man 2, so I'm agreeing with famous
Nice.
Seamus. Loved it. I have been a huge fan of the Sony PlayStation Spider-Man games, and I love their take on Spider-Man. It's probably my favorite narrative outside of the comics take on Spider-Man. Love it. I think it's amazing. The gameplay and the narrative match, and the fact that they brought in Miles Morales along the way, and the way this game ends. Mark, I would say you need to get a PlayStation 5 eventually because this is the game that's worth it. Also, the others,
Yeah.
but I think this is the game to bring you in, and I love it the way they deal with Miles Morales. I think this is the best take on Venom I've ever seen, even within the comics. I love it, and I cannot wait to see what they do next. I know Sony is a problematic platform to love at times, but I love their games, and so
Yeah.
yeah.
I might steal my brother's PS5 if I don't get one
Hey,
myself. Like,
sharing is
I
caring.
watched, he just bought a new TV, so I was over there a couple weeks ago, and yeah, it's phenomenal.
Hey,
It
play how
looks
you can,
so
man.
good. Yeah,
I don't
looks so good.
besmirch you, man. Share if you need to.
That's it. That's
Go
it
to town. Yeah.
for sure.
Very cool,
All
cool.
right,
We get to
number
number
ones.
1. Oh my goodness, we're
Woo!
here, gentlemen. We are at the final countdown. So this we get back to Brendan Myers. So this might be a precursor to where we're at. Star Wars Jedi Survivor Jedi. Mark, I'm probably
Yeah,
gonna kill your
you're
brain.
fired.
Jedi Survivor, not Jedi.
There we go.
There we
Jedi
go.
Survivor.
Jedi Survivor.
Yep.
Great game. There we go. Then I'll get to Sean. Jedi Survivor. I'll let you take the
Yep.
rest.
Yeah, we're gonna see a little string here. Henry, Jedi Survivor. Um, yep. Famous Seamus mixing things up with Hi-Fi Rush. Love it. Love it. We've said enough about Hi-Fi Rush that I love it. But Famous Seamus added something here. Even if you're not good at rhythm games, this game is still fun
Oh
AF.
yeah.
Yes. Yes,
I'm
absolutely
horrible
yes.
at
And
it and I
all the
loved
things you've
it.
already
I'm
said
just
about
not
it.
very good at it and haven't played enough because I keep losing.
Yeah. Would probably should have made my honorable mentions. I love that game. I kind of forgot it came out this
Yeah.
year, to be honest.
Yeah.
But such a great game. While you guys were
Very
talking
cool.
about it, I just remembered playing through it, and it's yeah. Why is that not in my conversation right now? Should have been, but would probably be in my top 10. I would definitely is in my top 10.
Yeah.
But anyway, there we go. Logan,
We haven't
where are you at?
mentioned this game at all yet today. Armored Core 6. I don't
Boom.
know.
All right.
I don't know what else can be said about giant robots with laser swords and rocket launchers fighting each other at Mach 1 at all times. It is. I did the full 3 playthroughs to get the true ending. I grinded out every single mission to get. I got I actually platinumed that game on Xbox. I got max rank in
Wow.
every game. I mean, it's just dumb fun. There's nothing cooler than dodging hundreds of missiles while you dual wield shotguns and laser cannons on your back and fight a giant army of robots. It's just over the top. It's fantastic. The story is interesting. And at the end of the day, if you can find fault with two giant robots fighting each other, then I don't think you're. I think you're thinking too hard.
Yeah. So going all the way back to the Byron Return, same reason I was picking Godzilla or King Kong. You get the giant kaiju kind of factor. It's robots, kaiju, whatever it is. It's two giant things fighting. Let's go. Love it.
I played a little bit of that game and it's amazing. I'm just bad at it. So I couldn't get past the first level and Logan's doing it. I'm like, oh dude. And I watched him play and he is amazing at it. And he was telling me, Dad, this is this part. I'm like, wow, you're amazing.
Yeah.
And it's great to watch a good player play.
Cool.
Mark.
Awesome. I'm gonna have to go with the consensus here and say Jedi Survivor. Like I said, man, for this game to be so good that it made a Zelda game less appealing to me, they did something right. It just took everything from the first game, made it better, continued with an amazing narrative that surprised right until the end. You think the game's kind of over, and then another twist happens. You think one person's the bad guy, and it goes this way. Just everything I wanted from a Star Wars story, from an adventure game, from a kind of Metroidvania thing, Jedi powers, just every single aspect of this game was just better than the last and better than pretty much anything else I played this year. So, Jedi Survivor, Cal Kestis. Let's go.
They subverted so many things with how you can do this effectively without reducing your player initiative and what you accomplished before. I love that. I love the supporting cast so much. And is it Marin?
Yeah.
One of my favorite new
Night
characters in
Sister.
Star Wars. She
Amazing.
needs to come back. She's amazing. I love the fact that I think Star Wars gaming is amazing. It's my favorite aspect of Star Wars these days. I love it. And they make great stories. You're playing those little characters, and Marin is amazing. And I hope if the Disney overlords are paying attention, we need an animated series based on these characters. Why not?
Yeah. We need something. Yeah. I mean, they made them look like the actors.
Yes.
Forget animated series, real series. Put them
Sure.
in things.
Whatever's cheapest, Mark. Whatever makes them easiest to do. I don't care.
Why?
I want to see them more.
Why have them look like they're actual actors if you're not gonna just just use them for something else? I don't care if they it's
green
like a
screens are
cameo and stuff.
expensive.
Just put them in stuff. They're great, and they're
Yeah.
great. They're great together. You see, they just just do it. Just put them in stuff.
Yeah. And quite honestly, they gave you more to do in that game than you could ever do if you wanted. Like you could manage your like bar, you could do this, you
Yeah.
could take on the bounty hunter things. I think they understood like how you add value to a game, make me come back and do cool things. And I think they just nailed it.
To your point, like the bounty hunter thing, completely optional. You can finish that
Yes.
whole game, never do the bounty hunter thing, and you miss a cool cameo. But like they have like fan servicey cameo stuff in there that you can completely miss and still enjoy the hell out of this
Yes.
game, and then come back and put another 10 hours in or something and just be like, oh shit, almost missed that. Like, so good.
Totally agree.
So
Totally
good.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, a different year that would have been in my top 5. It's in my honorable
Mm,
mentions, so I think that will play out in our heart of hearts at this
maybe.
point because I'm
Yep.
gonna guess nobody else has played my number 1, and that would be Alan Wake 2. Um,
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what else I need to say about this game that nobody else has. I love the first Alan Wake. Didn't love was American Nightmare, the spinoff. I love Control. I've loved Quantum Break despite its issues. I even Max Payne. I go back. I love
Mm,
Remedy, and they're just a wacky Norwegians, or I think Scandinavian Norwegian. I don't know. They're a weird studio, and Sam Lake is awesome. And one of my top moments, if you watch the Game Awards, just watch the Alan Wake song and you'll understand how weird this game is and how much it is awesome. This game has one of my favorite musical moments of my life. I discovered the Old Gods of Asgard band because of
mm,
this. It's amazing. This feels like Twin Peaks. This feels like X Files. So many things. They improve the combat. They gave us a new character with Saga and Alan. And the great thing about this game is you're going forward, you can play it out of order. You could just play Saga's elements and then go to Alan Wake. You could play them back and forth, which I think is so intuitive as a game developer that you can still do that and it still makes sense. It's amazing. Difficulty, I trudged through to play it in at the highest difficulty, despite my intent to play it easily, and I enjoyed it. Made me progress to that game and just love it even more. Yes, I know some people have some problems with the end of the game because it's a little vague, but I'm like, that's the whole point of Alan Wake. It's not supposed to be like you feel like you're satisfied, like Control. You feel like it's a little vague, a little odd, and it's buyer. It's your mileage may vary and where it ends. And I can't wait to see what they do next. Control. They said this is part of the Alan Wake universe as well. They incorporated control elements to this game. I love it. I just want more people to play it, but I told you it's not for a lot of people. Horror games are not for everyone. It's kind of grotesque. There's a little bit of
mm,
gross nudity too. Sorry, folks. You may not enjoy that, but just at least watch the Game Awards musical element. And it was
mm.
it's two of my favorite game parts of the year were those musical elements involving gameplay. Blew me away.
Cool.
Alan Wake
Well,
2. Yeah.
awesome.
Yes.
I
So,
love the varied
Mark,
choices.
oh, it's great. This is why I love doing it. Your perspective,
Mhm.
Logan's perspective. Logan did not play. Did you play any of the same games, Logan? Final Fantasy 16. Mark didn't play that.
Yeah, that
Um,
that and Cyberpunk I think are like the two same games that me and you have even just played. So
okay,
I actually haven't played that much this year, to be honest. I've played.
okay.
Mm.
I've been
85 hours of Terraria is a lot, or 500 hours of
Oh,
Terraria that you
true.
played.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, I haven't
yeah,
been that busy, but
yeah, exactly. So Mark, I think we have to look at our solid games. I think at that point, my honorable mention was Jedi. I think is the highest
Yep.
Jedi Survivor.
Yeah, yeah. So your honorable mentions, I think that would be it. And if we're throwing community stuff in there, we've got several mentions of Jedi Survivor. It's in your honorable mentions, and it's my number one. I think that would be our Heart of Hearts award. Again, going out to Bobby Pauls, who would always say Heart of Hearts when he felt something
Yeah,
just to be true.
yeah,
So I think we're feeling it. I
I
think the Heart
do.
of Hearts award. Todd, you want to announce it officially right
Jedi
now?
Survivor.
Woo!
Congratulations, Lucasfilm, Respawn. You earn our love. Logan, you got to play the game. It's awesome. I think you'll enjoy it. Yeah, so congratulations to all the developers that made our lives better this year. Thank you so much. Everybody that talked about the games that they love that made us play those games. We appreciate everyone and their perspectives on the world of games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. It's late. Mark needs to recover. He's got COVID, and he's gonna be better. He's gonna come back stronger in 2 weeks. Logan
Yeah.
needs to go to school. I need to get up for work. So we're gonna end it there. So with that, Logan, thank you so much. Um, I don't know if you can tell people where you're at, but thank you for joining us. Anything you want to tell the listeners before you leave?
Play Hi-Fi Rush.
Love
Yes.
it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Absolutely. Mark, where can people find you?
So I just did something kind of different, actually. I broke up my Instagram and TikTok accounts. So I have two now. So you can follow one as Canardian Jedi, and that's what I changed my the Canardian account to focus more on Star Wars and that kind of stuff. And then my newly created one that this crowd of listeners may be more interested in is Canardian_gamer. That's where my gaming stuff's going to go. Some Fortnite clips, Pokemon stuff, all that kind of stuff. There's not much there. I just did this, but if you want to follow me over there, that's where you can get me on both Instagram and TikTok.
Very, very cool. Check out Mark. He does awesome stuff. He is a fount of joy. And check out Holocron Chronicles on Secret Friends. He always has the best guests. And when Charlie does show up, they have a good time.
Yes, I can't wait. The Bad Batch season 2. Charlie and I
Oh,
are already
yeah.
talking about the plans for that. It's going to be exciting stuff coming up.
Absolutely. So myself at Threads is really where I spend a lot of my time now. At Oxtra, at Secret Friends Unite. Also on Twitter still, as I just leave a presence there at Oxtra and at Secret Friends U, and always our Discord. That you got to see how they participated. We want more people on our Discord talking about the things they love, sharing your loves and your passions. Even if you need some support when you're having a bad day, that is all about our Discord. So join us there.
Absolutely.
So gentlemen, thank you so much. This was a hoot. Another Couchy Awards. Thank you to the winners, and this is going to be another great year of gaming, and we'll come back in a year and celebrate the gaming of 2024. So with that, as always, remember, it's always better to game together.